How do you like read this stuff all day and like not like cry yourself to sleep at night? This is horrible. I'm quite ignorant when it comes to politics.
No, it's all good.
I don't know nothing about it. So I heard something about fascism, communism. What I hear there?
Yeah, we're just talking about the leader of Hezbollah being killed in an Israeli strike on Beirut. Give Biden 4 more years and clear Bush? No, I don't. I mean, Biden doesn't have 4 more years anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Where's this at?
This is Beirut. This is Lebanon. This is Lebanon's capital with 2.5 million people living in it. Well, it's probably a larger number now because a lot of the Lebanese population that was in southern Lebanon have had to escape into Beirut because they thought that would be a safe territory for them.
What are they running from?
Israel. Israel's bombing the shit out of everywhere.
Wait, what?
Israel, America's greatest ally, the most important country in the world, the most moral nation, the most moral democracy on the planet, is ruthlessly and mercilessly bombing southern Lebanon, including southern Beirut.
What did Lebanon do?
They just kind of were there. They happen to be Israel's neighbor.
You're kidding.
Yeah. Israel's justifications for it is that Hezbollah, which is one of the parties inside of the Lebanese parliament, which was created as a resistance group against Israel the first time Israel invaded Lebanon and occupied it for years, and then successfully fought back against Israel and removed the Israeli invasion from its territorial boundaries, and then did it again in 2006, is lobbing rockets into Israel in a tit-for-tat
Wait, are you saying Israel's trying to expand?
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Does everyone know this?
Yeah. Everything. You are so misinformed. Yeah, I know. I'm so misinformed. You're right. Yes, Israel's trying to expand, yes.
And our tax dollars are helping them?
Yeah.
Well, I want my money back.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that.
Oh my God. Is this something the average American
district
knows?
Of South Beirut.
The average American that is informed will be informed by mainstream media, and the mainstream media usually will tell them, like, you know, Hezbollah, big bad, they're big bad terrorists, they're scary terrorists, they're Islamist fundamentalists, they're scary, scary, scary. Israel good, Hezbollah bad. Israel has to do this in Lebanon because they have to take care of Hezbollah.
So Lebanon has people. People are called Lebanese, right?
Yeah.
So one of my neighbors growing up was Lebanese, and he had a daughter who was 1 year younger than me. She was really hot.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Don't know what that has to do with anything, but all right.
Wait, I wonder if she's single now.
A sprawling suburb, hollowed out by Israeli
bombs. Austin is Lebanese.
Really?
Yeah, half.
That makes
bombs
sense.
And fear.
Because he's hot too.
A suburb, still burning.
There's an intense heat coming from the basement of that building. The sky is dense with the smoke. It smells acrid. The scale of destruction around here is vast. Not just at this site, but everywhere you drive around De Gea, there are signs of these airstrikes. And just a moment ago, we heard Israeli planes in the sky. There is a tense feeling now that as bad as all this is, yet more could be coming.
What's
fresh fire from the sky did soon fall.
Nothing.
But they brought mere tremors.
In case like debris falls on his head?
Yeah.
Are they bombing civilians?
Yes. Like a shit ton. Yeah. Like, yeah. Fuck yeah. Of course. Who do you think lives there? These are just residential buildings. Yeah, there's babies in those buildings. There's mothers in those buildings. There's elderly people in those buildings, and they fucking destroyed them and killed like 300 of them. It's overwhelming majority civilians. Like,
are they trying to intentionally hit civilians?
I think their goal is to cause as much chaos as possible, like they did in Gaza, where they don't like. Their goal is to just like destroy the normal existence of people there to make it unlivable.
Isn't that kind of the definition of terrorism?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. And they are doing that. They are doing terrorism for sure.
Oh my God.
Compared to the seismic eruptions that leveled large parts of De Gea last night.
The city looks beautiful.
An overwhelming use of force focused on
Beirut is a beautiful city. Like Lebanon is a beautiful country. Beirut is a beautiful city. Like it is a very modern city. Like, it's a city.
I see a shopping center right there in the bottom
Yeah, it
left.
just looks like fucking, it's no different than like Paris, you know what I mean, or Chicago or some shit. It's just like a city.
Breaking Hezbollah's command and control center and decapitating an entire movement. Sheikh Hasan
Israel claims that there are cruise missile launchers hidden under every building, and that grandma is hiding those cruise missile launchers under her, bed, and that's why they have to hit those targets. And they use our weapons to hit those targets. They don't have those bombs, so we give them billions of dollars. I believe, I don't know what the sum total is, but since 1948, the inception of the state of Israel, when it first became a nation state by doing pretty much this kind of stuff from the jump, we have given $250 billion total. And the Biden administration greatly accelerated it post October 7 in terms of tens of billions of more that we have given to the state of Israel to continue bombing all of these countries.
I don't want to sound like an idiot here, but why are we doing that?
How do I explain it?
Like, why would we help them do this? I don't understand.
Israel is, how do I describe it? It's like, I have to describe to you what settler colonialism is, where you send a bunch of people to an area with the specific purpose of colonizing that area. That's kind of how America was founded as well. We are a settler colonial nation. We've sent a bunch of people here, and then those people came in and fucking killed every single indigenous person. And then we occupied more and more land.
That's what Thanksgiving's about, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so Israel's doing that since 1948. Originally, it started under the British Empire when England or British Empire took over Palestine, the area that is called historic Palestine. And they didn't really like Jewish people a lot. This is pre-World War II.
Who didn't?
Most people in Europe did not. They were very anti-Semitic. And so they were like, oh, we don't really like Jews that much. We should just send them somewhere. Where can we send them? A lot of the Christian Zionists predate almost Zionism being like a Jewish movement. There was a guy named Balfour, Lord Balfour, who made a declaration. Basically was like, we should ship all of the Jews here in England to the desert instead, to historic to mandatory Palestine. And that's basically how it started in the early 1900s.
One guy did this?
Post World War One.
Okay.
After they took over Palestine from the Ottoman Empire.
When you say Jews, you mean Jewish people?
Yeah.
So this is a religion.
Well, Judaism is not just a religion; it's an ethno-religion.
What's that?
There are different. It is also an ethnicity as well as both.
Okay.
So you can be a Jewish person. It's matrilineal. If your mother is Jewish, you're technically still Jewish, but you don't have to be a practicing Jew.
Okay.
And there are different kinds of Jewish ethnicities under the umbrella of Judaism. You have Sephardic Jews, you have Mizrahi Jews, you have, and it depends on what region they're coming from originally or what region they lived in historically.
This is crazy. This is, okay. I did not know this.
But ultimately, the one guy who was like, I don't think we should ship the Jews into the fucking desert in England was actually a Jewish guy.
Okay.
Who was like, no, we shouldn't do this. This doesn't seem like a great idea. But this is a very long and convoluted history. I want to bring it back to some of the questions you had today.
Yeah.
Right? What was the last question that you had when I went all the way back to fucking Lord Balfour?
I forgot. But I feel like, can you ship people?
They did, yeah.
How does that work?
Especially accelerated after World War II as well.
Was it they put them in like they did with the slaves? They put them in the boats.
No.
Down there,
a lot of people voluntarily went as well. Especially after World War II. Originally, Zionism amongst the Jewish population was looked at in a very negative way. Zionism is the ideology behind the development of the nation state of Israel being a Jewish ethno state, a state for Jews only for the most part, or a state where Jews have all of the rights, and that non-Jews also can coexist, but
That
don't have the
sounds-
same set of rights.
That sounds kind of racist, brother.
It is racist. That is precisely why I say, and many
But-
academics
but we're
consider
okay with
Zionism
this,
to be
or-
a fascist ideology, because it is. In the more like in a nicer way to put it, if you want to put it in a nicer way, you can say like, oh, it's a way for Jews to have self-determination and sovereignty.
So can we as the black delegation claim Michigan and kick everyone else out?
I think people have tried that. It didn't work out.
Why?
You know, not for Michigan specifically, but
Okay.
well, America is like Zionism, but for white people.
Okay.
But whiteness also is not as like hard-lined and as defined as like as Judaism is as an ethno-religion. So whiteness can expand usually. We also did it in Liberia too, but that's besides the point. I don't want to get into that.
Got it.
But basically, you are legitimately insane.
What about what he said is insane?
Oh, your question. They never have a follow up. He'll just say I'm anti-Semitic or something or lying. There's never like any sort of tangible counter to anything I'm saying. It's usually just shit slinging.
Someone said Michigan sucks. I mean, we'll take it, guys.
So, you asked why we fund Israel so much.
Yeah,
So,
why?
There's a couple different reasons, but I think the most reductive way to explain it, the easiest way to explain it, you are presenting history in such a one-sided manner. Yeah, you're right, totally. It's a very one-sided manner because it is. It is a one-sided manner. It is a moral wrong. If you are anti-fascist, Zionism at the time was very reasonable. Yeah, that's why all the early Zionists now sound exactly like me, right? Fucking Albert Einstein. Go read his letters about how Jewish fascism is turning into Nazism, and you'll understand that, like, perhaps early Zionists who were critics of what the Zionist project became, as soon as they understood that the fundamental principle behind a land without people for a people without land was wrong, because there was people there. It wasn't a land without people. Okay? Without a state, Jews are being persecuted all around the world. Dog, what are you talking about? You think anti-Semitism has been dealt with now because Israel exists? It's worse now, okay? It's gonna get even worse now, as a matter of fact, because Israel keeps bombing everything and saying we're doing this for Judaism and literally bringing you, I suspect, a Western Jew along with the project when you just want to live your fucking normal life. You don't have to hold on to this notion that, like, Jews are a monolithic force and they all care about Israel. And Israel, I don't even think this person is Jewish, by the way, but that's besides the point. But the notion that without a state, the Jews are being persecuted all around the world is, I'm not Jewish. Okay, then shut the fuck up, okay? Shut your stupid fucking bitch ass up, okay? I'm sick and tired of Christian Zionists coming in here and outflanking anti-Zionist Jews in my goddamn community and chirping like this shit. You didn't even go to, like, Jewish camp. Where did you fucking... Where did you develop this sentiment? You didn't even get the social conditioning, goddammit. What the fuck are you talking about? You didn't go to Birthright. You didn't get your shit sucked at Birthright. Why the fuck are you so ride or die? Sorry.
So you said Jewish camp. I thought they got rid of those.
No, that's different. It's like basketball camp and shit like that.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Again, I'm not very well versed in all this sort of stuff.
God damn, this shit pisses me off so much, bro. Christian Zionists are so fucking annoying.
Oh, man.
Okay, let's continue.
This is all crazy. Like this
Let
whole thing.
me explain the process.
Why
behind
are
this.
we giving them money? I don't understand. Like,
Okay, so the region is a resource-rich region. Okay? There's a lot of oil. We care about oil.
Still?
Everything runs on oil. Of course, everything runs on oil.
what about Tesla?
So that's really important. And there's also a very important trade route there. Okay?
yeah.
Here, I'll show you a map.
Okay.
Okay? Let's show you here. So let's pull it up on a map right here. Oh shit. Thank God I didn't show that. That's like fucking
Every time.
I know.
You can't beat
It's
it.
fucking annoying. All right. Okay, here. What the bro? I pulled the image. This is the image. This is 1p, dog. What the fuck? God damn it, Google. Get better, okay? Get fucking better. Here, I'll show you. Let's do trade routes. Maybe that's a better map. Okay. So, here. Open image, new tab.
What the
What is
fuck?
happening? Why is every image like this, bro?
I'm gonna be honest, I can't load porn either.
Yo, what the fuck? Yo, this shit is hella annoying. Okay, let's see. This one works. Okay, thank God. Okay, so this is a trade map. Okay, these are some trade routes. Okay, one of these trade routes, especially if you want to cut directly in from like Asian countries, if you want to cut directly in to Europe, is you have to go through this area. Okay. This area that's known as the Red Sea. There's a lot of countries around there that might have a different perspective than the United States of America. So we packed them all up and we made sure that they had either puppet states that were in control of that entire trade route, or at the very least, at the tippy top of that, you have the Suez Canal. Okay, this is the easiest to secure part of this trade route. It's the final part of this trade route. On the one side, you have Egypt. On the other side, you have Israel. Okay. America needed, and England before it, needed some way to make sure that they have full and complete control over this, over the Suez Canal, to ensure that like countries there don't turn around and go, hey, we're shutting this off. Actually, you really pissed us off, America. I don't like that. We're going to shut the Suez Canal off. Okay. Technically, it's Egypt on both sides, but yes, Israel being there is what is significant.
Okay, I understand we need the trade route, but why can't we do what we did in the past instead of giving them weapons, just destroy them?
What do you mean?
Like we went and took oil from other places. Why would we let these small people tell us what to do?
Because no matter how powerful of a country you are, America is kind of doing that already in the region, but like it's still unstable. Why is it unstable? Because Egypt is a massive country. Egypt needs American billions and billions of dollars of money from America. That's why it's a client state.
Wait, who does? Who needs that?
Egypt.
Why?
Because they could not exist in the way that they do without America consistently pumping it full of money. However, the Egyptian governance is shaky. Why is it shaky? Because there's a lot of fucking people there that might go, hey man, I kind of don't like what you're doing. I'm going to do a coup. And that has happened in the past in Egypt's history. As a matter of fact, during the Cold War, if we're going to go all the way back there was a lot of allegiances with the other major power in the world, the USSR, Russia.
But they suck. They can't even beat Ukraine.
Okay, well, that's new Russia. That's an entirely different story. But
We have
during
no one
the
to fear
Cold War,
anymore.
we were afraid that like Egypt might, align with the Soviets. A lot of the pan-Arabic nationalist movements that were forming when countries were being formed, nation states as we understand it were being formed, were like, hey, we'll take our allegiances from whoever the fuck wants to support us. If it's not going to be America, maybe we kind of like socialism a little bit. Maybe we want some money and some weapons from the USSR. America did not like that. They were like, no, you could not work with those guys. America defeated the USSR and destroyed and dissolved the USSR. And in the aftermath, they were the only big game in town for many, many years until China came in. But even China is not doing that as much right now. But basically what is going on is these countries are completely captured by American interest, by American money. America gives, weapons to these countries so they can fund their militaries. And, you can use that military to suppress your population if they try to do an uprising, things of that nature. We do tons and tons of information sharing, surveillance, all this stuff, right? So basically, at the heart of the matter is America wanting a ride or die, right? And what is a bigger ride or die than a country that is currently being run by a guy who grew up in Philadelphia? His name is Benjamin Netanyahu, also known as Benjamin Netai. I believe he has some other names as well. May or may not have been an intelligence asset at the time for the United States of America, and also Mossad, which is the Israeli intelligence.
What do you mean he grew up in Philadelphia?
He just grew up in Philadelphia.
And he's the leader of
and he's the longest running, I think at this point, leader of Israel. Yes, the current prime minister.
How is
So-
that possible?
How is that possible?
Don't you?
He just fucking grew up in Philadelphia. What do you mean?
Okay.
Anyway, so, oh, he also went to MIT. So here's the thing. All of this makes a lot more sense if you look at Israel as not just like Egypt, a client state, a vassal state, but instead just as an American state, the 51st state, right?
Are you saying that they're attacking other countries because we want them to?
Yes. So
Shut
here's how
up.
this works. Israel is basically another state of the United States of America. That's the way to analyze it. We say it's sovereign, but it's not really sovereign. Okay, it's completely motivated and controlled, and there's like obviously they have their own territorial ambitions and whatnot, but like ultimately America is the big dog in here in the party. Okay, it doesn't seem like it right now because Biden is a fucking idiot and very much invested in Israel's ultra Zionist project, but Israel is basically the 51st state of the United States of America. And not only is it a state, I like to say it is one of the most important states. Like it's not like North Dakota. You know what I mean? We could get rid of North Dakota. Who fucking cares? You know, United Dakotas, who gives a shit? No one will think about that ever again. But Israel is significantly more important. That's why it gets more money than other American states. So
Jesus.
that's it. Israel basically is an American state,
But
in a
Okay.
resource-rich region that has its own espionage facilities. So there's like plausible deniability when they do stuff. You're like, oh, that's a different state. Well, that's not us. Come on, guys. It has its own unsinkable aircraft carrier, basically, in the region that we're constantly giving them all the newest weapons and newest toys that we develop in the United States of America. And our tax money completely funds and props up the Israeli state. And that is precisely the reason why in the American stock market, there are more Israeli companies than there are Indian companies and like 3 or 4 other nations combined. So our partnership with Israel is like this. Okay.
so who's like making these calls? Because it's Biden can't even think. So like who's making these calls? Like who's in charge? Like who's running the show here?
I think a lot of the people that Biden has surrounded himself with are all on board with the interest of Israel. They're like, yeah, they're going to keep doing this. They're going to keep pummeling, but I think it's okay because, they're the good guys and everyone else is the bad guy.
I don't see how this is like for the average American. Why is this good for us if Israel's pummeling this area?
How do I explain it? So there's 2 different ways to describe it. In the simplest terms, it's not.
Okay.
It's not beneficial. It's not beneficial even a little bit. But I guess the American government does a lot of stuff that's not inherently or immediately beneficial to the American interest, but we do it anyway. Why did we go to Iraq? Why did we invade Iraq? Was that beneficial?
Was that George Bush?
Yeah. Well,
Jr.,
Cheney,
right?
Dick Cheney and him, yeah.
Well, okay.
Dick Cheney was his vice president. So there's a couple different reasons why it's beneficial for some American interests. One, we get to take oil and control oil and extract oil with Western corporations. We parse through their natural resources as we usually do in many parts of the global South. But beyond that, there's also an industry that matters perhaps the most in the United States of America. Broadly
trade.
defined, the military-industrial complex.
Okay.
And basically, the military-industrial complex is very important to us because it is our manufacturing. It is at the heart of our manufacturing. It's the one kind of manufacturing that has not moved overseas when a lot of our other manufacturing has moved overseas.
So making weapons.
So making weapons is very important for us. Doing R&D for weapons is very important for us. Taxpayers fund the weapons research. Taxpayers fund the wages.
Mhm.
Taxpayers create the factories so that we can make more weapons. And then when we have weapons, we got to use those weapons, right? Obviously, you got to go somewhere. You can't just have them
wait.
sitting in a fucking arsenal somewhere going to waste.
Are you telling me this is all about money?
Yes. Of course.
But don't we have more than everyone already?
But how do we get here?
I mean, are we good?
And also, who has the money is also important, because
That's what I'm asking you.
Because the reality is, we like to talk about the GDP, right? Or we like to talk about like our overall output and how much money we have as America. But what good is all of that money out there as, you know, numbers on a board if the average American can't actually heal itself? The average American can't go to the fucking doctor without, you know, going into medical bankruptcy. Does that money matter all that much? Like, it's great. We're one of the richest nations. We are the richest nation on the planet, richest nation in history. And yet we can't take care of our own citizens. We have tens of thousands of homeless people on the streets. We have people who need health care. We have no mechanism of competing with the rest of the world in terms of like our education. Our education is also paywalled for no fucking reason. When other countries don't do that at all because they understand it's probably better to educate as many people as possible. They have to
be doing it on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, it's short term. It's an endless death spiral caused by short term profit seeking.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, we're all fucked up, huh?
Yes. And that's definitely...
I thought my problems were problems. Like being single and alone, but...
So...
Not really that big of a deal compared to this shit.
So, yeah. Basically, the short and sweet of it is that Israel must exist. Israel must exist in the ways that it does as an American vestige of empire in a resource-rich region that is, at any moment, can immediately take control over a key trade route here. So, okay? Because if it doesn't, then, you know, they're cooked. And what has actually happened in post October 7, when Israel started relentlessly bombing Gaza, a territory that is basically an open air prison that it currently, and pre October 7, occupied, restricting trade, refusing to allow them to build water wells, build fucking airports, build a port for their ships.
Yeah. Can they turn off like the power in the water?
Yes, and they did. They did.
That is not a fair fight.
Defense Minister Yoav Gallant,
what the fuck?
In the immediate aftermath of October 7, came out and openly stated, the Defense Minister of Israel, Yoav Gallant, who is a war criminal, and that's not just me, that's the international court, the ICC, International Criminal Court, is also has decided that he is very likely a war criminal. There's a warrant. There's an application for a warrant out for his arrest for war crimes. Now, Yoav Gallant said in early, in the early month of October, that Israel was fighting against animals, and that because they're fighting against animals, they have to turn off their water, their electricity, and their food.
That's fucked up.
And they did do that. And then people were like, hey, you can't do that. That's a war crime.
And you did anyways?
And then they basically, like, slowly but surely just changed the faucet a little bit. But yeah, here it is. This is fifth day of heavy fighting between Israel and Hamas today as the death toll soar. More than 1,200 Israelis and 1,100 Palestinians are now dead. This was early October, October 11. Gaza cut off from food, water, and fuel as Israel's punishing bombardment continues.
Man, this is tragic. Has anyone talked about a solution? Is there even one?
There is, dissolving the apartheid, but that's not what I was going to talk about. The reason why I brought all this up was because the Houthis in Yemen, after a rigorous bombing campaign that Saudi Arabia, another one of our very important allies, not as important as Israel, but still very important ally in the region, alongside the UAE right here, was bombing the shit out of this country called Yemen. This country also has, different sects of Islam, like different religious sects that operate within its boundaries. And there was always some infighting. And there was a group of guys that called themselves Houthis. They are of a similar sect of Shia Muslims that are backed basically by Iran. They take control. They take control of the country in the during this genocide that is occurring in Yemen. Genocide backed by, again, American bombs that Saudi Arabia is doing. There's a full-blown blockade. People can't get food. They're bombing fucking school buses and shit with American bombs. Again, we're giving Saudi Arabia bombs so they can do this, and the UAE as well. And there's different groups that they're backing. There's always like a guy that you have that you're like, oh, well, this is my guy. This guy should be in charge, actually. But then everyone's like, well, we fucking hate that guy. They might not even like the Houthis themselves, but they're like, but we don't like this guy either, right? And everyone is trying to take advantage of that situation. All these other regional actors are trying to take advantage of that situation. Houthis basically come out as the victors from that, okay? And they set up a new coalition called the Ansar Allah movement in Yemen. And what they immediately start doing is they start saying, oh, Israel, you're going to fucking blow up Palestinians? Well, guess what? We're going to blow you up. And you're like, what do you mean? You guys just fucking overcame a genocide. What the fuck do you mean you're going to blow it up? I didn't even think that the Houthis had that smoke. Okay. I didn't think that the Ansar Allah movement was going to do that shit. Okay. I thought all they did was basically, walk around with like blades in their fucking belts and look cool. Okay. And make musicals. They make a lot of musicals. I can show you some of them in a second.
Oh, okay.
Well, it turns out they do more than that, because they do also get like a lot of weapons from Iran, which is a much larger regional actor as well. Outside of the musicals, they also literally have an insane arsenal that they are not afraid of using against anyone and everyone. So they go, guess what? Hey, you like the Suez Canal? You like the fucking Strait? You like the Red Sea right here? You like that trade route? It's gone. How are they going to do that? America does it all the time. How are the Houthis going to do that? Well, they go, listen, you want to fucking bring a ship through here? We're going to take it. So that's exactly what the Houthis start doing. They start fucking sending in helicopters onto fucking ships and taking over the ships
like
and
Rust.
going, it's our ship. Yes, exactly like Rust. Wait, we got to have that.
They're doing cargo.
We have to, here it is.
This is Rust?
Bro, they fucking, look at this. They got the Palestinian flag that they painted under the helicopter with the Yemen flag. They fucking they start overtaking the ships. And they're like, guess what, dog? No more trade to Israel. If you're an Israeli, if you're owned by an Israeli corporation, or if you are actually sending ships to the Israeli port of, it's not Eilat, it's the other one that is now bankrupt. What was the other port? Haifa, right? Is it Haifa? Is Haifa the bankrupt one? Anyway, there's a lot of information. I can't recall all of it. But they go, if you are sending ships into Israel, if you are owned by an Israeli subsidiary, if you're owned by an Israeli corporation, we're going to take over your ship. You cannot fucking use this trade route anymore. Guess what, bitch? It's our fucking territorial boundary, and we're going to enforce this until you stop doing genocide in Gaza. Because they say it. They're like, listen, we don't like you. We're not a fan of you. Okay.
So this is like a third party.
This is a group of people that are like, no, we care about the Palestinians. We don't want you bombing them. So we're going to fucking take action, and we're going to try to punish you economically to the best of our ability. And by God, they started doing that, and they were doing it real well. So they started taking over these ships. They started targeting the ships. If you pass through, they communicate with you. They're like, hey, where are you going? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. If you're trying to get in there, we're going to fucking bomb you.
Are there people on this helicopter right now?
Yes. What do you mean? Of course there are people on this helicopter. What do you think, is a fucking drone?
Kind of, from this angle.
No, there are people on this helicopter.
So this is like a hostile. They're streaming this?
Yeah. They're flexing.
What? And they're coming in hot with guns.
Yeah, but you have to understand, this is a deterrence, right? So like their goal is to film it and show it to the world. So like other companies that don't want to risk having this happen to their product, having this happen to their ships, literally are like, okay, we're not going to use the trade route anymore. All of a sudden, if you don't use the trade route, trade gets more expensive for the West. All of a sudden, if you can't use that trade route, the Israeli port is going to get bankrupt. Israel is not going to be able to get the materials in time that they need for waging their war. Israeli society is going to start getting upset. They're going to be like, I can't get my treats. I can't get my Amazon Prime deliveries. What the fuck is going on? I hate this. Israel sucks. I'm leaving Israel. That's the goal. The goal is to be like, yeah, your shit sucks. Okay, well then stop, doing genocide in Gaza. And
This is wild.
so these guys did all of this, right? They did all of this.
Is that their helicopter?
Yeah,
That looks like a legit helicopter.
it is a legit helicopter.
This is wild.
Yeah. So new IRL streaming idea for Extra Emily. Yeah. So they take it over. And they tell the people in the ship, usually like mostly Filipino people, Filipino crews.
Oh.
And they're like, all right, well, we got no problems with you, but you're coming with us. We're taking over the ship. So they did that. And basically they shut down the fucking strait. Like they almost completely shut it down, with exceptions. Like if you're, I don't know, if you're like a Russian ship or some shit, if you're not going to Israel, then they let it go through. But America did not like that. America was like, we're the big bad. You're not the big bad. Who the fuck are you, bitch? We were helping Saudi Arabia do genocide to you like not that long ago. You better back down. So America started launching their fucking cruisers. Okay? They started sending their big old ships. And at the time, a lot of people celebrated it. They were like, oh, the Houthis are going to learn today why, like, we don't have healthcare. And they were flexing. They were flexing that we don't have healthcare because we need to because we are the dominant force globally. And I'm like, bro, why the fuck do you care about being the dominant force globally when you don't have healthcare? You're a fucking idiot. You're a loser. Anyway, so basically, they started this operation called Prosperity Guardian, which one of my friends calls Operation Amazon Prime Shipping. But
Okay.
basically what ended up happening with Prosperity Guardian is they started bombing these Yemeni positions. They were like, we're going to fucking mercilessly bomb you. Oh, yeah? You think you can fucking...
Wait, who's bombing who?
America and also
Wait,
England.
Are we allowed to do that?
England, America. We can do whatever the fuck we want,
Don't
big
we have
dog.
to like declare war or something before we... No? Are we just throwing bombs for fun? What? I don't know. I thought we were supposed to do stuff like that.
Yeah, no. That's a cute question. No, we do whatever the fuck we want. Okay.
Well, not we. It's them in charge.
Yeah, America gets to do whatever the fuck it wants. So
Oh, no.
basically, Operation Prosperity Guardian starts. Okay, it's a
Yeah.
United States-led military operation by a multinational coalition formed in December 2023 to respond to the Houthi-led attacks on shipping in the Red Sea. Okay. Here are the belligerents. The United States Navy, the Royal Navy, the Royal Australian Navy, the Royal Bahrain Naval Force, the Royal Canadian Navy, the Royal Danish Navy, the Finnish Navy. One of my favorite was the Seychelles Coast Guard that also were like, we'll take some of that piece. We'll take a piece of that action. Anyway, ultimately, this coalition of royal navies and forces got together and they were pummeling Yemen. They were blowing up Yemeni positions where they have rockets or whatever, right? But to the Yemeni people, they were like, dog, death is all we know. We just overcame a genocide. You think this is going to fucking stop us? I'm going to make more musicals now. So they did. And they started bombing American military ships, Navy ships. They even recently, and this was like kind of reported. I'm not entirely sure, but I think they might have even targeted the naval vessel for refueling the other naval ships in the region. They had to literally tow that away. But
They're not afraid.
basically, and I'm going to show you this. Here are the Houthis hammering 3 U.S. warships with 23 ballistic missiles and drones from the Red Sea after the Tel Aviv attack. And I'm going to run the 3-minute ad break right now, and I'm also going to pee real quickly. Okay? I'll be back in a second. You watch this.
Okay. So this is going on like right now. Is it embarrassing to say that I had no idea this was happening? Like no one told me this. Like no one told me this was going on. This is kind of scary. Oh my God. I assume people are getting hurt when all this is happening. those AKs. Living on your stream thing. I like coming over here because I learn so much about things I don't know. Like, I'll never take time at home to learn about this sort of stuff. Every time I see some of these missiles getting shot, it just seems like that money could have been put somewhere else, somewhere better for anybody. All this, it seems like a waste of money in life, you know?
So,
On both
anyway, the
sides.
reason why I brought all this up
Yeah.
is because you're right. It is a huge waste of money.
Yeah.
And it's especially a huge waste of money because the Ansar Allah movement, the Houthis in Yemen, said, hey, there's an alternative out there where we don't have to do this fucking, you know, blowing up ships shit. Right?
Who said this?
What is this? Oh, this is, hold on. There is an alternative out there where we don't have to wage war like this.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a beautiful, prosperous alternative. It's called Israel Stop Doing Genocide in Gaza.
Right.
So they said it. They were very clear. They're like, we'll stop. We don't give a shit. It's not like we love blowing up the ships. Just stop doing genocide in Gaza. But Israel was like, no, we have to keep doing genocide in Gaza. So America was like, of course, Israel is our ally. We have to do everything we can to bring them to heel.
Is it
Okay?
really that black and white?
Pretty much. I mean, I'm simplifying a little bit, but
Oh,
here,
yeah, I've seen this.
you've seen this.
Yeah. Oh, that's so loud.
But one
Yeah.
thing you also have to remember is, where is that money going? Now, the missiles are going in the direction sometimes of like Yemeni positions, okay? But where is that money coming from? Well, that money is taxpayer funded. Taxpayers paid for the people's wages in factories to build those fucking munitions. And then the American military purchases those munitions, giving that money back to the corporations. And basically, it's this never-ending cycle. But when you got it, you got to use it. If you don't use it, you lose it. And by that, I mean you lose the budget. So you always have to keep, you always have to keep using the endless amounts of funds,
You know what's
the
funny?
ever-expansive funds. So
Yeah.
at the end of it all, okay, Operation Prosperity Guardian.
Yeah.
Was it a success? We are the most powerful navy on the planet. I mean,
Currently.
look at this. Look at all these people. Look at all these places. Look at everything that's going on. It was a whopping failure. It was a massive failure. The Houthis were determined. They were not able to stop the fucking bombing campaigns. And America, in the process, spent billions of dollars and attacked and never stopped attacking Houthi positions over and over and over again.
Mm.
Okay? And at the end of it, they said, we're throwing up the flag. We can't deal with this. It's
So
done.
is it still going on in the trade route? Are they still going after ships?
Here is a very funny moment where, here, let's listen. So someone asked Biden, are
Yeah.
the airstrikes in Yemen working?
Well, when you say working, are they stopping the Houthis? No. Are they going to continue? Yes.
At least he's honest.
Yeah. And that's precisely what happened. And basically, it was a spectacular failure with American media openly admitting its failure. Here is, let's see what the total cost was at the end of it. Operation Prosperity Guardian failure. Here is from Jeffrey Wells. I mean, he's like a think tank guy. Operation Prosperity Guardian, a colossal blunder demanding an unyielding response. This was back from August. Okay. They wanted to annihilate the Houthi infrastructure. They wanted to end the floundering. This guy is like advocating to go all in, I think. Enable disaster, fix it now. Ultimate goal, neutralize and deter. Call to arms, no half measures. Okay. Where is the actual cost? I need to see it. Not the fucking Navy equipment cost. I need to see the total dollars spent on this operation. Tell Nick about the aid pier cost. Oh God, that was even crazier. But for that, I need to describe to him like the rules of waging war and what you have as a nation state, like the obligations you have to the civilian population. You have to allow humanitarian aid to flow into the areas that you're bombing so that the civilians don't get fucking killed. And Israel, being the belligerent occupier, already is illegally occupying Gaza and has no right under international law to be able to bomb Gaza in an effort to defend itself. That's like literally illegal for them, but it doesn't matter because Israel's America and America is Israel. And, these rules of war are not for us. It's for our enemies.
Oh, my God.
And in this process, because this was such a glaringly obvious violation of humanitarian law, a lot of these NGOs, non-government organizations, aid organizations go, hold on. You can't stop the flow of humanitarian aid into a civilian population. That's a war crime. It kind of seems like you're trying to genocide these people, Israel. So America goes, we got it. We will fix this problem. Now, did they actually want to give humanitarian aid to the Palestinians? Fuck no, they don't give a shit, right?
Is that when they dropped the packages?
That was part of it.
I
Yes,
saw that.
that was part of it.
Didn't the package hit somebody and kill them?
Yes, it did. The other part of it was, let's build a pier. And on May 17th of 2024, this $230 million U.S. Gaza aid pier opens. There it is, that pier. It doesn't look like that anymore. Spoiler alert, the pier is gone. Because in May 25th, it's damaged. June 7th, it's reconnected. UN pauses distribution on June 9th because Israeli forces killed 274 Palestinians and operate a helicopter in the vicinity of the pier, leading people into believing that maybe the pier is actually being used for military purpose. You can't do that for humanitarian aid. This is not a dual-use utility. This is a single-use utility. It's supposed to be for humanitarian aid being delivered. Also, the question on everyone's minds at the time was, why do you need a pier? You have direct open routes from Israel into Gaza that Israel controls. Why can't you send the trucks in? Why not?
Why not?
Because Israel was not interested in that. They wanted to limit the amount of fucking food that was going in because they wanted to cause chaos amongst the civilian population.
Why is this pier so expensive? It looks like shit.
It's expensive because everything that the American government contracts out to private parties or everything that the American Defense Department pays for is expensive. It's all inflated. It's all bloated.
This thing looks like you can get a guy from Alabama to make it in about 2 weeks.
Anyway, but the real reason why America did this is because we wanted to defend Israel from the PR front. See, Israel is letting us build an aid for build a pier for humanitarian aid to go in. If they were the big bad, if they were in violation of human rights, and if they were doing a war crime and not allowing humanitarian aid to flow into the civilian population in Gaza, they wouldn't have let us build this pier. But the pier never actually served that purpose. The purpose of it was to do PR, and it even failed on the PR front because the pier failed multiple times. June 14th, pier is removed. June 19th, pier is reconnected. June 28th, pier removed again. June 9th, announced it is briefly reinstalled, but it failed. And on July 17th, the pier officially closed. This was a $200 million process in which defense contractors made some money, right? We paid a lot of people to build the pier. We paid the people to ship the pier over there, all the parts and whatnot. But ultimately, it was a $230 million marketing initiative to make it seem like Israel wasn't doing a genocide when it actually was. Why is this important? Because we fund most of Israel, but especially its military.
Right.
We are responsible for 70% of the munitions that Israel gets. We keep giving them more and more weapons, both on the defensive side for the Iron Dome, the Arrow 1, all the way to Arrow 3, David Sling defense systems that they have. It's not a real dome. It's just like Tamir interceptor missiles that we fire. Okay. It's very cool tech.
Yeah, I know.
We also were responsible for building it, but we don't give it to anybody else other than Israel because Israel's the best. And Israel refused to let Ukraine have it because Israel's the best. Anyway, at the time when Russia was invading Ukraine, Ukraine was like, hold on, I'm Jewish. That's what Zelensky said. I love Israel. Am Israel Chai. Can I please get the Iron Dome? Benjamin Netanyahu said, no, you cannot get the Iron Dome.
Is it up to him?
Fuck you. Everything's up to Benjamin Netanyahu. He can do whatever he wants. Anyway,
God.
You're forgetting.
Yeah.
Israel's the best. It's the most moral nation. It's the only democracy in the world.
51st state.
Yes. Okay.
So we love
better
Israel.
than America. Am Israel high? Okay. So, but why is it important that it has to seem like Israel is not directly stopping humanitarian aid from going in. Because we are a nation of rules and laws. And one of those laws is a law called the Leahy Law. This law indicates that it is illegal for the United States of America to continue giving weapons to an ally if that ally is in violation of human rights.
Oh.
And this is a clear-cut definitional violation of human rights.
It's a Jim Leahy law.
So here is the problem.
Yeah.
If they're directly violating that law, then we're doing something that's illegal in our own books. We can't do that. So what did the American State Department do?
Change the law. I don't know.
No, they didn't change the law. They basically just said, oh, no, they're not doing that. They're not violating the law. What the fuck? Shut the fuck up. Now, recently, ProPublica, phenomenal investigative reporters, found a memo from USAID, U.S. Department of Aid. Okay? It's another wing of the CIA. It's another wing of the State Department. And basically, this memo showed, and this memo was sent, it's a 17-page memo that was sent to Antony Blinken, that Israel was deliberately blocking humanitarian aid to Gaza. Two government bodies concluded this in their report. And Antony Blinken, you're so biased, it's disgusting. I know, I'm so biased. Like, I mean, the thing I'm so biased because I'm not lying. Like, that's what it is. Okay, you want me to just lie? I think
either it happened or it didn't. Right? So how's it biased?
Like, exactly. These
like,
people,
did this happen or not?
These
like,
people
there's no bias here.
They never have a counter. They just go, "You're biased. You're anti-Semitic. Move on." Okay. Antony Blinken said, "Fuck this memo."
Who's Antony Blinken?
Antony Blinken is the head of the State Department.
Oh,
so Secretary of State.
Got it.
He's in charge of like everything. Okay. He's in charge of like all of our, he's one of the most significant, most consequential aspects of America's foreign policy.
Did he get elected or appointed?
Appointed. He is a demon. Anyway, so there's documented evidence, but I'm biased for saying that there is documented evidence. Anyway, so the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, okay, delivered his assessment to Secretary of State Antony Blinken, and the State Department's Refugees Bureau made its own stance known to top diplomats in late April. But Antony Blinken was just like, nah, it's fine. It's not happening, and refused. And then further lied to Congress officially in like official meetings that he had with Congress, consistently and repeatedly lied to them and said, Israel's not violating human rights, and Israel's not stopping the delivery of humanitarian aid. The problem is Israel was doing that in such a glaringly obvious way that we didn't need this fucking memo to know that. We already did know that because every other fucking human rights group on the ground was saying Israel is doing that. Not only were they stopping the flow of humanitarian aid into the area, they were letting metric tons of flour just sit there and perish.
Oh.
Like they were just like, there was aid. It's right there. It's inside of the territorial boundaries of Israel. They're just letting it perish because they're like, fuck you. We don't want you to have it. We want you to die. We want you to basically live in chaos, in destruction.
This is crazy.
So he lied to Congress to continue supporting our endless bloodlust in Israel, to continue giving Israel weapons. When you say he's a demon, do you mean because he shreds or because of violating international law and helping fund a genocide? Okay, a bit of both. Good question, chatter. Antony Blinken is also known for shredding. That's him right there, baby.
This is a joke, right? No, I'm him. Who? The devil? Is that what he's singing about?
Yeah, I mean he's had a couple different tasteful moments such as this one. So Israel wasn't just fucking denying humanitarian aid from entering Gaza. Israel also was killing humanitarian aid workers at a rapid clip. They just kept killing humanitarian aid workers, and there was a very famous moment called the Flower Massacre, where Israel allows some trucks to go in, and then they shot at the trucks, causing chaos. And then the trucks like ran over people. They shot at a lot of the people that were trying to get the fucking aid from these trucks. Then Gaza, like the Gazan officials, said, okay, we have a police force. What the fuck are we doing? We might as well use the police force, whatever remains of the Gazan police force in terms of civil governance. So the Gazan police chief was like, we are going to do a single file line. We're not going to let chaos happen when we are trying to get aid out. We're going to do this responsibly. So they brought forward the internal, civil police force in the region to deliver the aid to everyone. And they were in a single file line. People were receiving aid all of a sudden. The next day, Israel killed the fucking police chief. Literally the next day, and then said he was a Hamas terrorist. This is just one of the forgotten aspects of Israel's bloody campaign over the course of the past 12 months. It's just one. I'm just giving you like a Sunday. You know what I mean? Just one. It's not even, this doesn't even hit the top of the line in terms of like the ruthless efficiency in which they have slaughtered everyone. And also on top of that, have mercilessly destroyed all the buildings and made it uninhabitable. Gaza.
Is it just rubble now?
Yes.
I mean, how many people are left, man?
There are millions of people displaced. The total number of people that was living there is like 2.5 million. There are 42,000 people that they confirmed killed directly with rockets and directly with like shooting them and killing them. The Palestinian Health Ministry calculates the direct Israeli kills separately. The number that you hear is usually around 42,000. The number of death and the number of casualties is so much higher than that. They've maimed so many people. They've blown people's arms off, blown people's eyes off, all this stuff, right? So basically, that number is actually very small in comparison to the much, much larger death number because, for example, Dropsite News actually interviewed my friends over at Dropsite News actually interviewed, I think, like the chief medical, like the chief of the health bureau, whatever remains in Gaza. Mm-hmm. And they were saying that like the actual death toll is significantly larger because there's so many people dying of, there are people dying of starvation, of course. There's famine in North Gaza. But beyond that, there's a lot of people that like have cancer, for example. They can't get their cancer treatment. Why? Because Israel is occupying the only fucking cancer ward that remains in Gaza. Israeli military is using that as a fucking battleground. So they can't get fucking cancer treatment. So they die of cancer, but that doesn't even log in as like a direct casualty of Israel's bombing campaigns. If you want to see what the before and after looks like, here is, this is, by the way, this article is more than 10 months old at this point. Holy shit. It's even worse than that. This is what it looked like before Israel, and this is what it looks like after Israel.
Is this all of Gaza or just a portion?
All of Gaza is like this now. They did this in the north first, and then they slowly moved to the center, and then they moved into the south. Now, you ask an interesting question, because there was a red line. Rafah is the southernmost point of the Gaza Strip. Rafah has a direct entry point into Egypt. Egypt is a separate country, right? But remember, I told you Egypt is a client state of the United States of America. So basically, what happened is Biden was like, well, you told everybody to fucking leave northern Gaza and go to southern Gaza to Rafah. That's supposed to be a safe zone. So Biden accidentally said something very important. He said, my red line is an invasion of Rafah. Do not invade Rafah. That's my red line. And at the time, Biden was actually also like, he had stopped one of the countless amounts of weapons that they were sending to Israel. One, Israel was very mad about that. They were like, how dare you fucking do that? Here is Biden's red line after Israel, of course, immediately violated that red line and invaded Rafah. We lied. We kept saying to the American public, they're not invading Rafah. It's a special military campaign. This is what Rafah looks like before. This is what Rafah looks like now.
They leveled it.
Yup.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And Biden said that was the red line.
That was the red line, but he never enforced it. They never enforced it at all. Of course, why would they enforce it? And throughout this entire 12-month process, which is now nearing its 12th month, it's officially about to be a year in a couple weeks. Biden kept saying, we're tirelessly working for a ceasefire. Tirelessly. Around the clock. There's Israeli hostages inside of Gaza. Israel is killing them because they keep bombing the fucking strip, and there's hostages under the fucking rubble. They're dying too. Israel's killing its own hostages. And throughout this entire process, they're like, we're just working tirelessly. We're so mad at Israel. Arr. But every time Biden says, don't do this, Israel does it anyway. And they do it flagrantly, and they do it openly. And in the process, they also get one other assurance. America's never going to stop them. And America is actually going to keep giving them more weapons. Because America says, don't do this. Israel does it. America turns around and gives another $9 billion worth of weapons to Israel the next day.
That's kind of embarrassing.
This past week. This happened this past week.
Yeah.
Literally.
Why don't we put our foot down? Is it because we really don't actually care?
This is the most complicated answer of the entire equation beyond what I just explained to you. It's like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, enough is enough, right? It's really embarrassing for America. America's losing its soft power capabilities. America can't no longer dictate the rest of the world in the same way, because they can always be like, oh, really? You think Russia is doing a bad job? Well, how about Israel? That's what many people are saying already, right? People that are aligned with Russia. Make no mistake, what Russia is doing is also unjustifiable. They're doing America shit in Ukraine. But the problem is, when you can't rein in your attack dog,
dog's off the leash.
Then when your dog is off the leash and you just keep giving your attack dog more meat to fucking grab onto, ultimately, people are going to look at that and go, well, I don't know if I believe you, man. I don't know if I believe that you want to be the fucking, you are ready to be the world police. It seems like you are not. You're weak. You're a bitch. And that is true. That is precisely what's going on. America is getting weaker on the global stage. China is actually doing a fantastic job with soft power initiatives, doing global trade. It's a really important trade partner of the United States of America as well. And as that's happening, more and more countries are going, okay, well, I mean, I don't know about these Chinese guys, but like, at least they didn't enslave my people. Like, African nations are like, well, we got on the one side, we got countries that have historically enslaved us, countries that still control our banking, like France and England, and countries that have enforced like rigorous and rigid austerity measures by giving us some loans from the World Bank and IMF, and then immediately implementing ridiculous austerity measures so we can't even fucking fix our country. You're keeping us poor. China, on the other hand, is like, we got money. I'll give it to you. And I'll even let go of the loans that I'm giving to you. You want to build a port? Let's go. Let's build a fucking port. You want to build railroads? I'm fucking down. And in that process, these countries are like, okay, well, I'm going to go fucking work with China. America sees that. They don't like it, but they're losing their grip of power around the planet. So they are desperately clinging on to whatever fucking ally they have in the region, Israel.
How does China feel about this whole Israel-Gaza stuff? Do they make any statements about it?
I mean, they keep saying Israel should stop killing Palestinians or whatever, but overall, China also deals with Israel. China gets fucking surveillance technology from Israel. Israel has what is known as the Pegasus system. It is the most technologically advanced surveillance mechanism known to man. It's so good that the American government actually said, Israel, you can't do that. Why? Because it can break into anyone's phone. Anyone's phone.
This is real? This is a movie?
Yeah. No, this is real. This is not a movie. As a matter of fact, it may or may not have played a formative role in a lesser known chapter of our lives in America, where MBS and our boss, Jeffrey Jebediah Bezos, had a little bit of a back and forth, a little bit of a beef, as a matter of fact. Jeffrey Bezos buys the Washington Post. There's a Washington Post journalist who is, kind of an American security state asset. His name is Jamal Khashoggi. Jamal Khashoggi is constantly shitting on MBS, constantly shitting on Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia says, hey, you should come to the fucking consulate. He comes in the consulate in Istanbul, in Turkey. They chop him up. They put him in a fucking,
I know about
they put him
this.
in a barrel. Jeff Bezos is like, what the fuck? Yo, that's not cool. Why the fuck did you do that? That's one of my journalists. Yo, that's fucked up. Anyway, comes out that Jeff Bezos is cheating on his wife. How do we find out? Well, MBS may or may not have literally fucking hacked his phone directly.
They can do it from anywhere?
Yeah, they hacked his phone and they leaked his shit. And anyway, Jeff Bezos, obviously being such a powerful person, basically packed it up. But at the time, America was like, yo, this fucking technology is crazy. It is way too fucking, it is way too invasive. You can't have that, Israel. And then they were like, but also we can have it, right? Please give it to us.
Did we get it?
Yeah, we use it too. Everybody uses it. A lot of governments
Wait, so my
use
phone's
it.
not safe?
I mean, if they, I think they have to like get you to click on a link or some shit. But yeah. So anyway, but it never really was. Yeah.
Moon, I'm coming, buddy. No, I'm just kidding.
So yeah, it hacks iPhones too, and iPhones were supposed to be very secure, obviously.
That was a joke.
So, I work in cybersecurity. They have no click RCEs, which means they can do it from anywhere. I know one where a message gets sent to you and they get full control without clicking a link. Okay, I didn't know that. So the original exploit was a no click. No, it requires no user interaction. I didn't know that it was 0 click. Okay. So anyway, why was I talking about this? Because China also, has some contracts with Israel, right? But for China, they are kicking back and fucking enjoying the show because America's influence around the globe is waiting. Everyone is looking at America and be like, you're doing fucking insane genocide. What the fuck? Stop it. Stop it now. And they're like, oh, we want to stop it. And then Israel's like, fuck you, America. I will do whatever the fuck I want. So that makes America look weak. So if you're China and you're kicking back and just doing trade,
Let the fire continue.
and yeah, why would you fucking put out that fire? You don't have to do anything. So that's basically the Chinese position at this point.
I got another question.
Yeah.
Is there anyone in our government that's like actually trying to do the right thing?
No. No government's trying to do the right thing. No. What do we? No, of course not.
Not one person?
No, I think even in terms of like China just cares about China. You know what I mean? They don't care about anybody else. They have no like ideological vested interest in like defending the global South or whatever. The only reason why they're doing soft power initiatives and doing the Belt and Road initiative in general is because they want to create new markets so they can fucking keep funneling more Chinese manufactured goods into. Because like the rest of the world needs to develop so that they can sell more product to the rest of the world. It's a good thing overall for them. Mm-hmm. So that's part of the reason why they're doing that. They're developing these places because they're like, we don't care. We don't have to just sell to America. We'd sell to you too. But in order for them to actually, purchase these goods, they need to develop to a certain degree. I think Hasan misunderstood. Wait, what was your question?
I'm just wondering if there's anyone in our government that's like,
oh, there are some
like,
people.
hey, stop.
I mean, there's Rashida Tlaib. Rashida Tlaib is literally Palestinian, but our government censured her for saying "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free." They censured her. They used
what word are you using?
Censure. It's like censoring. They told her to shut the fuck up. They punished her aesthetically.
Oh.
Because she said from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. An emancipatory slogan. It's like saying Black Lives Matter. And then someone going, actually, that means you want to kill all white people. And we've all collectively decided as a society that that's what that means. And if you say that, that's what you mean, actually. Fuck you, you piece of shit. You're actually censured now. That's precisely what happened.
Oh.
There are some that are good.
I got a dumb question.
What?
So you know how you're saying back in the day, like, everyone was like, hey, Jews, you go to this Israel place and, start over, whatever. Is there any way like now we can take people from Gaza and put them in a different area?
Well, that's what Israel wants to do. That's called ethnic displacement.
Wouldn't that already happen to them once?
It's also genocide. It is how Palestinians were originally kicked out of their homes.
But isn't that better than getting like just
kind of a big no-no?
Getting murdered?
Well, I think the best outcome would be for them to be able to live and coexist.
Obviously.
So that's what they're trying to do. That's what we're trying to achieve.
Build a better place, like.
You know, because Israel is not an unstoppable force. It's not fucking a natural disaster. It's not a fucking hurricane. It's human beings that are like clicking a button to fucking, you know, execute these people. So obviously, that would basically be like giving in to Nazi Germany in that situation. You know what I mean?
But didn't it already happen once?
What do you mean?
Didn't it happen once that like people were moved?
Yeah, they were moved into Lebanon, Jordan, the West Bank, and the Gaza Strip. And now look what Israel's doing in those places.
I don't know. It seems like just from what I've heard, that Israel's just not going to stop pounding these people.
Yeah.
So if they don't listen to what we're saying, surely something has to change. I don't know.
You're not wrong. Obviously, like Israel's ultimate goal is to basically fucking get all the Palestinians in Gaza Strip and everywhere else to just like move further and further away from Israel. And then they use that as a precedent to be like, well, they're over there and they're scary Palestinian guys. They always want to do terror to us. We got to take over that territory again. That's usually how they do it. That's how they did it in Lebanon
you're
too.
Saying if they moved out, they would continue to persecute them?
I mean, they have continued to persecute them.
Oh my God.
Yeah, if you're a Palestinian citizen, you can't fucking enter Israel proper. If you're a Palestinian citizen that goes in the West Bank, you still literally are under a rigid apartheid regime where like you have to go through numerous checkpoints. They can fucking literally kill you. Israel killed an American citizen activist like 3 weeks ago. Her name was Aishinur Ezgi from Seattle. She flew in to the West Bank, which is supposed to be internationally recognized Palestinian territory, but Israel is currently occupying it militarily in an illegal manner. She was at a protest. An Israeli sniper just fucking domed her, killed her, shot her in the fucking head. One shot. Yeah. The American government said nothing. They said, we'll investigate. We'll let Israel investigate. And then they said, ooh, this is really bad. Nothing. Oh, 2 weeks prior to that, they shot another American citizen from New Jersey this time. They shot him in the fucking leg. He survived, luckily. Nothing.
Why'd they shoot him?
Because they can. Like, there's no other reason.
I'm not going to lie.
Probably, in their minds, they probably thought he was Palestinian.
To be fair, it sounds like a place where maybe we shouldn't go. Just to be honest.
I think these are incredibly brave people that are...
more braver than me. I'm staying here.
Yeah. These are
I probably shouldn't even be on this stream, to be honest.
These are incredibly brave people.
More brave than me. Yeah, I like to sit in my car and eat chicken.
Yeah. Israel also, good luck explaining this. This is too much. This is too brain breaking.
What is that? Oh, God. Is it a TV show?
Oh, how do I describe
Wait, have you ever been to Israel?
Fuck no. You kidding me?
Wait, do you think they know who you are?
I don't know.
Let's hope not.
I'm not willing to find out. Anyway. This is Meir Ben Shitrit. Okay? That's his name. Israel has a concentration camp, many concentration camps, but one specifically called Side Teiman. This is a concentration camp where Israel goes into Gaza and fucking packs up all these people, undresses them, literally makes them sit around in their underwears and say, these are all the terrorists, la, la, la. Then we find out they're like fucking nurses and doctors and shit, but it doesn't matter. It's besides the point. They pack them up. They put them inside. They put them on trucks. They fucking hog tie them. Okay. And they ship them to this concentration camp where they torture them. Okay.
Hold on.
Relentless.
Israel's doing this?
Israel's doing this. Yes.
The Jews.
Well, Israel's doing it. It's not the Jews doing
Jewish
it.
people, right?
No, it's not.
They're not.
So one thing you have to understand is that like
a difference.
There
Enlighten
is
me, 'cause
a
I'm just
major
asking.
difference because like what Saudi Arabia does is not about Islam. You know, it's not like ISIS is doing what they're doing for Islam. You know what I mean? I'm Muslim. I don't fuck with those guys. I don't fuck with either of those guys. You know what I mean?
But isn't Zionism? I'm so confused.
It's understandable that you're confused in this circumstance because like
so Israel's
both
not Jewish.
The Nazis who hate Israel or love Israel, doesn't matter, that believe that Israel must exist or believe that Israel must go away and that Jews control the media or whatever, like both the Nazis
and
also Israel and Kanye, and also Israel itself claims that Israel is doing this for Judaism. And that if you criticize Israel, like I'm doing right now, I'm an anti-Semitic person. So because of that reason, a lot of people like yourself get confused. You're like, what the fuck? So the Jews are doing this? No. These people are not doing this for Judaism. Obviously, yes, the military is by and large Jewish. There's some Druze people, there's some Arabs, whatever, but like it doesn't. They're not doing this for Judaism.
So but they're using it as a veil.
They're using that as a defense mechanism. They're using that as a defense mechanism in the West to propagandize their position, to be like, no, you don't understand. We're doing this for Judaism. All Jews care about this. They only care about this.
Got it.
Except for the Jews that are anti-Zionist. Many of them are in this community. They call them anti-Semitic and call them terrorists. But that's besides the point. They're doing this for, they're doing this for...
Bro, this is like multi-layered and extremely complicated, and I'm kind of scared.
It's actually not. It's very black and white when you think about it. But like, obviously, I'm trying to give you as much information as possible on the back end so that you at least are
so Kanye was wrong then.
Kanye is still wrong, yes. He loves Hitler, he said. That's fucking insane.
He said that?
Yeah, he did. He said he loves Adolf Hitler, straight up. So...
Why would he say that?
Because he was in the throes of like a fucking manic... he's bipolar, bro.
I bet you...
What?
I bet you Kanye takes a lot of amphetamines and it burned his brain out.
Probably. If I explain to this man Israelis come extraction brigade, his mind will explode. Israel has a unit.
What did you just say?
Israel has a unit that harvests the sperm of the soldiers in case of their untimely demise. This is called the Goon Platoon. That's what I like to call them.
Dude, what is going on?
It seems weird, right? This is what happens when you, much like the Nazis, in an identical capacity, have this insane religious and ethnic superiority complex and want to build an ethno-state. This is the type of weird shit that you engage in. It's called eugenics.
I know about that. Wait, so what about their sperm? They take the sperm from the sac when they die?
She thinks it's just another rocket attack.
I repeat, this is not a joke. This is the Israeli state itself posted this video.
But a gripping fear prickles through Shiley's entire body, and it's outside their bedroom window. Her husband, Yahav, fights the danger as Shiley runs, leaving everything behind to protect their baby, Shaya. She hides from the terrorist hunting her for 27 hours, terrified, praying that the love of her life will survive. She clings to hope that she won't need to raise their newborn alone. 4 days later, her heart shatters. She hugs Shaya tightly and knows she must fulfill Yahav's dream to create more life. So Shiley puts out a call for the unthinkable, to retrieve his seed and be able to continue growing their family. She's in her own war against time, and the crowd leaps into action to complete her desperate mission. But it's too late. Shiley did everything she could to save her family. We still have time to save ours.
Yeah. So
I don't understand.
Cum extraction. They shove a cattle prod up the butt of the deceased, or I guess they take it directly from the ball sack if they have the opportunity to do so. They have limited time.
Of like a dead soldier?
Yeah.
So
don't ask me why they don't just nut in a fucking cup beforehand. I don't know why they don't just do that. I feel like that's a way more efficient process if you really, really, really need to ensure that you're.
And Israel put this on the internet?
Yeah.
And they thought this was okay?
Yeah, and they did it in English. When Israel does propaganda in English, know that it's actually intended for the American and the Western audience.
Why would this make them look good?
They're insane, dog. That's it.
Okay.
It's the same shit as Nazis. Like, they were insane and they did a lot of insane shit. And when you look at it in hindsight, you're like, why the fuck did they think this was appropriate? I don't know. Like, Hitler literally was like looking to find, I don't know, Santa Claus or some shit. Why was he doing that? You know, they were trying to do like excavations to find like mythical swords that would help them. Why? Because they're insane.
Oh my God. And they have power and they're crazy.
Yeah. That's why I always explain it as like, imagine if like, in a parallel universe, like what would have happened if America went to war alongside the Nazis instead of against the Nazis? Well, you don't need to imagine what it would look like. This is happening right now. Now, of course, if you are to ever use that comparison or that analogy, people will call you out and they will say you're anti-Semitic. So if you don't have all this information,
What anti-Semitic means what exactly?
it means you hate Jews.
But you just said it wasn't about the Jews.
It doesn't matter. Most people still will, out in the wild, most people still operate on the boundaries of like, oh no, Israel's the Jewish state. Of course, they're doing this for the Jews, and all Jews actually care about Israel, yada, yada, yada. That's not the case, but that's how propaganda works. A lot of people still think that this is like the way it works. So for that reason, I'm just letting you know, they will call you anti-Semitic. You shouldn't fucking say a lot of the things I'm saying.
Keep in mind.
Unless you know all of the
I'm not
information
going
to
to
be
repeat
able
what
to
you're
back up.
saying because I'm so fucking confused because I don't know what's going on. But number two, I don't really give a fuck of what people say about me in general because I just don't care. Like, listen, I do things that you probably don't like.
Yeah.
Like we took that fucking Saudi deal.
You did?
Oh yeah, me and XUC both.
Oh, no. Damn.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we did. I'm sorry. I needed the money.
Oh, you want to see a Houthi musical?
Sure.
These were the people that the Saudis were killing, by the way. Just so you know, these fucking musically gifted individuals.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I need the money, guys.
I'm gonna grab my food.
I'm so confused. What is this?
اسأل أصحاب الفخامة والمعالي واسألوا عن الحشود العسكري يوم سيطرنا على الخوبة بآلي ما نبالي بالهمر والمدفعية ما نبالي وجعلوها حرب كبرى عالمية حمي قلبي والجرم والأوالي والله إن العيش لا يحرم عليا.
This is a 3-minute video of. What do you mean a music video? When you said music video, I'm expecting like bad example, Chris Brown dancing. You know?
No. They do
What is
do
this?
musicals. They're very musical people.
Are you being serious?
Dog, what do you look? You think I made this?
This isn't music. I know they're singing, but I'm seeing just guns and shit. This isn't a music video, Hasan.
No, it is. They do musicals about like their fucking like their actions all the time. And they love walking over. They love walking over like the American flag and the Israeli flag side by side. They will always like march on it. I'm surprised they haven't done it yet.
واقتحمنا الدود في ساعة انقلالي ومسكنا لحد مسكح حيدرية ما نبالي بالصواريخ خلف
He's
ثقالي.
saying they do not care about the heavy missiles. Like they
Yeah.
will literally take the war to them no matter what. It's an act of for them it's an act of resistance. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. Oh my God. Oh man. You know what? I also took a McDonald's sponsor and I drink Starbucks. I'm sorry. Don't hate me.
Good job.
I'm sorry, Hasan.
Are you proud of yourself?
I scabbed too.
What? Okay, stop.
I'm sorry, Hasan.
Stop.
And I like feet. But I'm a nice guy though.
That's the least consequential part of this. You liking feet is the most normal thing that you've said so far.
Oh no. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
You're not sorry.
I'm
I
not.
don't give a shit.
You want? Wait,
But you're more knowledgeable now. You are now equipped with the knowledge that this is
Can I be
wrong.
honest for a second?
What?
I'm afraid of having to get a 9 to 5. I got to make as much money as I can. I won't exist in the 9 to 5 world. I get canceled or like, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I apologize, guys. I'm
Nick,
sorry.
Israel defends themselves by saying and making Americans repeat that if you hate Israel, you're anti-Semitic, which is to scare anti-Israel people like you and me, not to say anything bad about Israel under the veil, that if you hate Israel, you hate the Jews.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Well, it takes a lot of effort to hate though,
I agree.
Yeah. Man, there's
Some people it comes easy though,
Really?
Yeah. Some countries make it easy, to be honest.
I'm just so busy that like I don't really have time to be like
Yeah, too busy fucking getting McDonald's sponsorships.
yeah.
Oh God, we haven't even talked about the rape riots yet.
Pardon? The what?
So Israel has a concentration camp called Sde Taiman.
Yes, you
they're
told me about it.
apprehending. They're mass apprehending Palestinians and putting them there, and then like releasing them back into Gaza after 2 weeks of like torturing them. We find out in those concentration camps is they're raping them. Some of them are getting raped to death. They're literally raping them with like electric pods and batons and raping them to death. And these are innocent people. These are innocent Palestinians, but they're calling them terrorists. Everyone, if you call someone a terrorist, you can do whatever the fuck you want to them in the eyes of Israel, right? So what ends up happening is, because there was an ICC court case on Israel for war crimes, basically, there is a principle called complementarity. What complementarity means is that if the country is a democratic Western-backed nation, they have their own internal processes where they look through the war crimes and they actually prosecute them. So no other outside group has to prosecute for them, right? That's why, like, remember what we did with the fucking aid ship or the aid port that never worked? Like, it's the similar principle of like, oh, well, we're prosecuting ourselves. Don't prosecute us, please.
Right.
You know, we're investigating ourselves. We're a nation of laws. That's what Israel says. So, basically, the Israeli government takes 9 of these concentration camp guards and says, you guys are the head rapists. You've done too many rapes. You've killed too many people by raping them. We have to prosecute you.
Was it 9 random guards?
I don't think it was 9 random guards. I think they were like literally on camera doing the raping. There was footage of it. So
why was it recorded? That's crazy.
There's cameras everywhere. It's a concentration camp. So basically, what ends up happening?
Wait, did you see the footage?
I saw some parts of the.
Was it blurred out?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, they have to do an internal investigation. Otherwise, they're going to be like, otherwise people can be like, well, you're not even investigating this shit. The fuck? Boom. Another war crime on the docket, right? So Israel arrests these 9 guys. They detain them.
Mm-hmm.
But the Israeli society gets very mad. They're like, how dare you detain these guys? Israel, the Knesset, which is the like their parliament, right? That's called Knesset, is actually out on holiday. Right? Summer holiday. They hold an emergency meeting specifically on the fate of these 9 detained concentration camp guards. Now I'll show you. I think this is. Does chat have the parliament meeting? Do you have a clip from the parliamentary meeting, chat? If you can link it to me, I want to show him what the person said.
Can I grab a drink?
Yeah. What do you want? Just the pink one. Can you give me a Diet Coke as well?
Yes.
Did Nick volunteer to learn this stuff on his own? He did. He just came in and
I might
Thank you.
Chad, I might not know a lot about this stuff, but don't get it wrong. Like, this stuff fascinates me and I love to learn about it. Like, I'm really I like World War II and I'm like a big fan of serial killers. That was probably not the best phrase of that, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's you know, Israel is behaving like a World War II villain and also behaving like serial killers. Here is the meeting.
Okay.
In the Knesset.
Yep.
Okay. Where one of the parliamentary like officials from the Ta'al party, minister of the Knesset, Ahmad Tibi, says, to insert a stick in a person's rectum, is that legitimate? Here is how the person, the Knesset member from Benjamin Netanyahu, remember him?
Yeah, the guy in charge.
From his party, here's how he retaliates.
אבל יש אירוע כרגע בשדה תימן שמשטרה צבאית הגיעו לעצור חיילים ששמרו על מחבלי נוח'בה. והחיילים בשדה תימן, מתקן מעצר של מחבלי נוח'בה, ומשטרה צבאית שם הגיעה לעצור כמה לוחמים שם שכנראה בגלל איזה שהם טענות של יחס למחבלי נוח'בה, ויש שם אירוע של התבצרות וכולי. הטרלול שהמדינה שלנו נכנסת אליו סביב הסיפור הזה הוא מטורף וצריך להפסיק אותו, ואני חושב שצריך פה לתת דוגמה אישית, ואני אומר עכשיו, ואני קורא לחברי הקואליציה לעשות כמוני, אני קם ואני יוצא מפה, ואני לא הולך להצביע יותר על שום דבר, עד שהסיפור הזה והטרלול הזה, שיש מי שבפרקליטות חושב שאפשר לבוא ולעצור חיילים על דברים שעושים למחבלי נוח'בה, לא...
This man is saying he's outraged. He's outraged. Why is he outraged? Not because it came out that his soldiers are raping Palestinian prisoners to death. He's outraged that those people are being prosecuted and detained.
Yeah.
But it doesn't end
נגמר.
there.
אוקיי? ואני מאוד מבקש, ואני חושב שחבריי בקואליציה טוב יעשו, אם יעשו כמוני. אנחנו לא יכולים להמשיך כרגיל.
להכניס מקל לרקטום של בן אדם, זה לגיטימי?
כן, אם הוא נוח'בה, הכל לגיטימי לעשות לו.
אוקיי.
הכל.
He goes, yes, it's legitimate. You can do anything you want to them. Okay? So he's a pro-rape advocate.
You said
but
they weren't even terrorists. It was people.
Yeah, they're just regular old people, but they call them terrorists. They call them Nukba, which is like the elite group of terrorists,
Hasan,
right?
This is insane.
Yeah, of course it's insane. I know. And you know what's really interesting? I don't fault you for not knowing anything about this because the American media did not even cover it because what happens after this is even more insane. It got crazier. So they detained the 9 guys.
Yeah.
Do you remember January 6th? Where some of our bravest patriots stormed the halls of Congress?
Like fucking Squeaks and Senna. Yeah, I remember.
Okay. Israel has its own January 6th moment where they storm the detention center and the facility where the 9 guards are being detained with guns. They go in and they're like, you are going to release these rapists. It is a pro-rape riot. The pro-rape riot is attended by members of the Israeli Knesset. It's all over the news. They're like, no, we want this to happen. We want them to keep doing the rapes. There is like a rabbi that comes out and is like, it's legitimate, like to do that.
Okay.
So
wait, can I ask you a question?
What?
And this might sound stupid.
Okay.
But why do they have to rape?
I don't know.
Why do they have to rape? I don't understand.
It's ritualistic and systematized humiliation of the enemy. That's what it is. The enemy is not human. They are less than human. They are subhuman and they are a scourge and that they must be dealt with in incredibly violent means. Rape is a deterrent in this circumstance.
That's insane.
Yeah, I know it's insane, bro. That's what happens. That's why I'm saying it's fucking fascist. This is Nazi shit. That's why I will always say it. Like, this is some Nazi shit. Anyway.
I can tell you most of my friends don't even know that this is going on.
Of course they don't. Even people who are like knowledgeable on the matter, who like pay attention to this stuff, if they're only getting their fucking resources from CNN, will never know this shit because CNN doesn't cover it. Because if they covered it, oh my God, Americans would be like, what the fuck do you mean they did a pro-rape riot?
You know what's funny? You're the streamer I watch the most.
Yeah.
But when I realize that when you're on my monitor,
yeah,
I'm not actually listening to a word you say. I'm just looking at you talking. I listen to you all the time. I watch you almost every day.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm not even listening to what you're saying or comprehending it.
That's not good.
I just like the way that you're like moving around and shit. Because this is all new to me. This is like the first time I'm locked in and I'm paying attention.
Okay. Well, I hope this is instructive and informative.
I'm not going to lie. I'm fucking scared.
I mean, yeah, makes sense.
This is horrifying. Like the things you're telling me is straight up fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
You know, I thought ERP was bad.
So, yeah. So here's the pro-rape riot. There are lawmakers in the riot. They attacked the base in protest of the Israeli military police, detaining 9 soldiers suspected of sexually assaulting a prisoner.
And who are these people here? Exactly.
These are just like Israeli society members.
It's like citizens.
Members of the parliament, like the Israeli Knesset. Lawmakers are leading the charge. It's like fucking if January 6th was being done by, you know, like prominent members of the Republican Party, which it was, but like not really prominent members of the Republican Party, but if they were like actively leading the charge. Like Derek Evans, who made it into the Capitol only to have his political career cut short by that mistake.
This is all insane, man.
So
there's so much more to life than like, why is everyone fighting? Can't we just?
But hold on.
Yeah.
The pro-rape riots succeed.
They break them out.
But it doesn't end there. Not only do they break them out,
they don't go back to raping, do they?
Here we go. Here we have.
Yeah.
Mayor Ben Shitrit.
Yeah.
The prominent rapist, okay? The number 1 rapist. Why do we know who he is? That's because he puts a balaclava on his head, okay? Like a mask to hide his identity.
Right.
And goes on national television to defend his rape. He's like, well, I have every right to do this. You know, they deserve it. He's the top rapist, right? At the heart of this entire story. Then he unmasks himself voluntarily. And then Israeli national television turns him into a TV, like a TV star. Now, Maya Force fighter Mayor Ben Shitrich, who was investigated on suspicion of rape, no less, is coming tonight to open everything about the Sideh Yemen affair, or Sideh Teiman affair.
מאיר בן שטרית שהתמודד עם הנוח'בות בשדה תימן ועכשיו מתמודד עם האשמות קשות וכולנו רוצים לשמוע מה יש לו להגיד וגם יהיה, תגיד לי, לאן אתה עומד ככה?
He looks like a serial killer.
Yeah.
Is that him again?
Yeah, the top Israeli rabbi blessed the soldier accused of the rape, by the way.
Wait a minute. Why do people keep saying accused? Wasn't it just defended?
Well, they're using you know, they have to say allegation because the court process never went through.
Well, I mean, okay.
Yeah, here is in June 2023, while in reserve duty in the West Bank, why can't we go into the Negev with machine guns? Why can't we go in with mag machine guns? Why can't we go in with the holding force of a grenade launcher, such as the place of a terrorist? 2 days ago, all these terrorists were standing there, 150 to 200 armed terrorists. Why don't we get 3 to 4 attack helicopters up in the sky and spray everyone? He posted this. He also posted, you know, his defense, or in many instances talked about like what he was doing. Here's Ben Shitrich, who is settlement adjacent to Hebron. He's a settler too. There's a different designation for like the most insane aspects of Israeli society, because like you have people living in like Tel Aviv and Israel proper, okay? And then you have people living in the West Bank. The people living in the West Bank are the most insane because they are the most loyal soldiers of Zionism. They're like, they're basically the most insane. They're like, no, we have to live here so that we can take over this land and eventually. And the Israeli government has basically allowed them to do that and have actually urged them to do that, right? Here's a really famous, prominent example. This man right here, Jacob, from, I believe, Brooklyn or Long Island, is a fantastic example of how the settler process works. This is in East Jerusalem, which is occupied by Israel, but there are a lot of historic Palestinian homes there. This is one of those historic Palestinian homes. Jacob flew in from Long Island to come to East Jerusalem and basically took over someone's house, literally.
You are stealing my house.
And if I don't steal it, someone else is going to steal it.
No one is allowed to steal it, ya ammi.
This guy?
Yeah.
This guy definitely has a Reddit account.
Oh, yeah.
Jacob, you know this is not your house.
Yes, but if I go, you don't go back. So what's the problem? Why are you yelling at me? I didn't do this. I didn't do this.
But
it's easy to yell at me, but I didn't do this.
You are stealing my house.
So he just came from America to steal someone's house?
Yeah. They do it all the time.
I mean, did he get the house?
I think they did. I think he did, yeah.
You're kidding.
Yeah, they've been doing this nonstop.
So they take somebody else's house?
Yeah. Yeah, and the military comes in and kicks them out.
Wait, kicks out the owners of the house?
Yeah.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. This is depressing as hell.
If you were to, like, for example, sometimes in the media they'll be like, an anti-Semitic incident occurred in a fucking Jewish community center the other week, where anti-Semitic protesters attacked Jewish people that were quietly congregating. And then you look into it, and you look into the fucking incident, and it turns out it's actually an auction. An auction for what, you might ask? An auction for houses. Houses where? Houses in the West Bank that Palestinians are occupying. In the United States of America, we have auctions for real estate of homes that do not belong to the people that are selling them.
Dude.
And when people go and protest those auctions, the American media says anti-Semitism.
Oh my God. It's all just fried, dude. How do you like read this stuff all day and like not like cry yourself to sleep at night? This is fucking horrible.
I'm motivated by the change that I'm motivated by the change that I might actually create in this world by educating one extra person, whether it's you or thousands of others that watch, that learn what the truth actually is, and change their minds, and then go out and protest, go out and spread the truth to other people. That's why I do it. And I've been doing this for, especially this is an issue that I've spoken about for years at this point, 10 fucking years professionally in public life. I've spoken out against Israel's actions because like a lot of people only became more knowledgeable of like the stuff that Israel was doing after October 7. Right?
Oh,
but this has been ongoing. This video is from fucking 3 years ago.
By the way, I'm an example of this because I always thought Israel were the homies.
Yeah.
That's kind of how there was Peyton as me as an average guy from Michigan who just went to college.
Yeah.
So that's the picture that was kind of painted to me growing up.
So as someone who's been doing this for years and years and years, I never thought that there would be this much outward support for Palestinians. Because 5-6 years ago, when I said stuff like this, people would be like, you're anti-Semitic. You're the most anti-Semitic person I've ever seen. Fuck you.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Can I have a random question?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know about this.
What is it?
Again, this has nothing to do with, what was the deal with like the Jewish people in the sewers in New York? Is it like this? Is it all correlated, or is that just something different?
No.
Okay, it's
that
different.
So
like remember that mattress with the blood on it? Like what was that?
Remember what I told you? Like there's like different sects of Judaism. There's
okay. I'm not trying to be racist.
Are you Christian? You're Christian, right?
What?
You're technically Christian, right?
Okay.
Would you say you're Christian? No, like you're.
I'm whatever gets me the least amount of hate.
Okay. There's a reason why I'm asking you this question.
Yeah,
your mom's Christian. You grew up Christian, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So every other religion is exactly like that. It's like a broad range of people who like are, not really committed believers, all the way to like the most committed fundamentalists, like as we call them. So under Judaism, there's a concept called like Orthodox Jews. This was
with the hats.
Yes.
And the
Orthodox
twirly hair.
Jews, but Orthodox Jews also have like different sects inside of Orthodox Judaism. Like you have the Neturei Karta that is actually committed anti-Zionist, but they still wear the hats. And then you have other kinds of like Haredi or ultra Orthodox populations in America and in Israel as well that are really, really involved in the settlement part. Okay. Yaakov probably is an Orthodox Jew, it seems. So,
and they have to go in the sewers?
No.
Okay.
The sewers was one specific sect of like very religious Jews,
right?
That simply wanted to expand underneath the Chabad. Like they just literally wanted to. I think the ultimate goal was like to connect like two different buildings.
Okay.
That they own.
Look at this guy.
What's up, dude? You look hot.
You look good. You look great, man. Yeah, it makes me excited seeing you walk in.
No, basically they just wanted to expand. They wanted to expand from one building and connect it to the other.
Did they ever explain the mattress with the blood on it?
I don't think so, but it's just a dirty mattress, bro. Come on.
Yeah, but in a basement.
Yeah, it could be anything. Like I don't.
Okay, but if it's Ted Bundy's basement or Jeffrey Dahmer's,
like,
you know what happened.
They're not.
Okay.
I don't think they were like doing.
I'm just I watched a lot of serial killer stuff. The mattress was sus and it scared me. So I will never be going to the sewers in New York after seeing that.
It was literally, it's like, I don't know what the fucking mattress was about, but it's like a shit stained mattress is like one of the most common things you can find in the New York sewers.
Okay. I've never been there. I don't know what was going on there, but I'm not going to go down there. That's not meant for me.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to be above ground.
But it was ultimately a building dispute that was supposed to be internally dealt with.
Yeah.
As in, what's up? Okay, well, all right. Well, I don't know. I can't talk about that right now.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of explaining very important subjects to our friend here who's learning about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict from the perspective of like not knowing anything.
Austin, I'm not gonna lie, this is fucking me up. This is fucking horrible, dude.
Yeah. What's gonna fuck
horrible.
you up is the top of the hour ad break coming for you, by the way, chat. As long as you as long as you're not subscribed, you will see a 3-minute ad break right now, which is gonna fuck you up even further. So if you're strapped up and buckled in and enjoying the show, subscribe.
Oh man, dude. I don't want to be that guy, Hasan, because I've listened to everything you say. And I'm not trying to, ruffle any feathers, but there's always two sides of the story. How close to the truth are you? Like, be honest.
Am I giving you information that is from reliable news sources? Or
I don't know. I'm so stupid. I don't know.
Okay. Fair question.
Like, would an unbiased person disagree with what you're saying?
A person that understands the truth would not, but
okay.
But as you also correctly said about your own personal background,
yeah.
To put it shortly, to put it simply,
yeah,
Israel is our homies, and that's the way that you thought about the situation until this very moment, right?
Well, until I talked to Caroline, but yeah.
Yeah, but Israel is our homies. So ultimately, I guess the question
I'm unbiased,
is,
so like, if you,
I guess
you
the question to ask you is
What do you
this,
think,
right? Like, was there two sides to slavery?
I don't know, but
no, there were people that were defending slavery. That were making it seem like, no, this is totally sick. That's the entire purpose of racism to begin with. White supremacy was a justification to continue the enslavement and capture and trade of like African men and women.
Well, I'm here because of that.
Okay, but that's not both sides of the fucking. Like, there's always going to be people who try and rationalize horrifying actions. That does not.
I'm not rationalizing. I'm just saying, like, I'm against it, but at the same time,
I need individuals like yourself to do
yeah,
is to look at this information and go, even if this is untrue, seek it out and corroborate.
Yeah.
Look at trusted resources and exercise some critical thinking. Make up your own mind. You know.
I don't. Okay, you want to hear a bad take?
What? Oh God, here we go.
I think some people, myself included, are like too stupid to think. I'm just not smart enough to figure it out myself. Especially something like this. I'm just not. I can do tech with computers and I can do all this sort of stuff, and
I disagree.
This shit's all above my pay grade, man.
I mean, but I disagree. You literally have made up your mind already.
Because you hand fed it to me. Honestly,
I know, but that's my job.
How many people have access, like direct access to someone like you? Not many.
Well, that's my goal. That's why I want to reach out and hope that people will be as charitable as you are.
Yeah, but he's answering like all my questions, chat. Like everything I can type in chat, right? But like,
here's the thing:
you won't be able to get this sort of one-on-one.
No,
like,
but that's what I try to do, and that's the problem, because
I see you get stun locked and you fight people.
There are a lot of people like you,
yeah.
but then a lot of other people with nefarious purpose make it seem like they're asking genuine questions in an effort to fucking lock my shit up and get me stun locked and have me respond to them.
Stun locked though.
I do.
Yeah.
But that's the reason why I do respond to most people. People always say, Hasan, why are you fucking repeat yourself all the goddamn time? It's because it's instructive for many people who are just tuning in, who haven't been paying attention. I've answered all the questions I answered for you a million times over for many chatters over the course of the past 12 months. And I will forever continue answering these questions because I want to educate people. So that's one.
Maybe it's the willingness to want to learn.
Yes,
that's the
exactly. Key. Charitability is the key here.
Yeah.
But because of what you just said, if more people have access to a person like you, if they listen to you, then that's scary. That's scary for a lot of people. That's why instead of addressing the things that I'm saying, most people on the opposite side, for one reason or another, don't actually tackle the arguments that I'm ever making. They try to hit me directly and say, he's a rich socialist and a hypocrite. Don't listen to him. And a lot of people, just like you admitted, are too stupid to be like, wait a minute, maybe they're just saying that because he's saying a bunch of stuff that they disagree with. But they're too stupid to fucking recognize that is precisely what's happening. So instead of tackling the argument, they try to attack the person making the argument. a much more effective way of like having this broad-reaching counter-propaganda initiative.
Oh my goodness. Oh man.
Someone in the chat said something that I agree with as well.
What?
Most people are not stupid; they're just subdued.
I really?
Yes, bro. Most people are intellectually curious. The issue is, a lot of the outlets, like a lot of the trusted resources on stuff like this, that is clear cut in stone, that directly aligns with like the American State Department interests, are going to lead you astray. That's the problem. So I usually don't fault every single person. As long as they are genuinely curious, as long as they are charitable and are willing to learn, I will always fucking sit there and I will talk about this endlessly, as I have done with you.
Got it.
This is Amnesty International. It's a non-governmental organization. It's a human rights group. Okay. They did a video a while back after declaring Israel to be an apartheid regime in the month of April in 2021.
This was before.
This was way before October. Yeah. Because Israel has been in apartheid for a very long time. Do you know what an apartheid is?
Nelson Mandela.
Good start. Let's watch this Amnesty International video now.
Okay.
Probably the disturbing images of racial segregation between whites and blacks in South Africa, where a regime ruled by a racist white minority declared themselves officially superior to the black majority, then proceeded to dominate them. South Africa's apartheid system officially ended in the mid-1990s, but that doesn't mean apartheid can't happen elsewhere. Here, in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories, Palestinians are being forced off their land and out of their homes, separated and segregated by laws, walls, and checkpoints. They live in a constant state of fear and insecurity, and deliberately impoverished. While, on the other hand, Israeli authorities have given the Jewish Israeli population privilege over Palestinians in just about every facet of life. The question is, does this all amount to the crime of apartheid? First, the definition of apartheid. The crime against humanity of apartheid is perpetrated when particular serious human rights violations are committed with the purpose of establishing and maintaining a system of domination by one racial group over another and systematically oppressing them. But does this system exist in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories?
And there's been a growing debate about whether the situation in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories is apartheid. And now is the time for us, as the world's largest human rights organization, to offer up our analysis. Our findings and criticism are directed not at the Jewish people, but at the Israeli state. It's the Israeli state that put in place the policies that implement the laws and the practices that oppress Palestinians.
Well, Israeli leaders have been clear about their intentions from the beginning. In 1948, just before he became the first Prime Minister of Israel, Ben-Gurion visited Lifta and other Palestinian areas near Jerusalem that were completely emptied of Palestinian residents following attacks by Jewish forces.
I do want to mention something here, because like this is, you're right, a one-sided conversation from a trusted third party. Having said that, there are a litany of misinformation and cherry-picked points throughout history, and genuine suppression of the truth in terms of like historic data that defenders of Israel has engaged in the Western world, especially, and in Israel as well, for a very long time. This is precisely the reason why a lot of people are also, that are educated on the matter, might actually arrive at an entirely different conclusion, because the way that this is talking about it is the correct way, like is an accurate analysis of the events that unfolded during the Nakba, which means the catastrophe in 1948, when Israel moved on all of the Palestinian villages and like basically purged Palestinians from their ancestral homelands, what they lived in, by hundreds of thousands. They moved 750. They moved 750,000 Palestinians from their homes and basically forced them.
This is 1948.
1948,
So
yes.
just after World War II.
Yes. And it's going to describe that right now, but the way that people who want to defend Israel, I'll just give you the alternative argument. I'll steel man their position as well. Those who are defenders of Israel will say, actually, no, that's not what happened. These Arabs, as a collective, were always angry at the Jews because they had anti-Semitism at their hearts, and they always wanted to, not live alongside Jews because they hate Jews. Like it's almost like a false notion of anti-Semitism created amongst the Arab population in the minds of defenders of Israel to make it seem as though like they have almost a Hitlerian, like Nazi style anti-Semitism. They'll even point to like a Grand Mufti, a Palestinian Grand Mufti, a religious leader that was actually a colonial religious leader that the British Empire had placed in position of power, but that wasn't ultimately a popular person at all, to be like, oh, Hitler literally talked to this guy actually, and he's the one who told Hitler to kill the Jews, right? Which is Holocaust revisionism. And it's Holocaust revisionism that was actually repeated by Benjamin Netanyahu, as a matter of fact, saying that the Palestinian Grand Mufti played a prominent role in getting Hitler to be anti-Semitic and do the final solution is unimaginable Holocaust revisionism. Only fucking Nazis would believe that shit, which Benjamin Netanyahu is. Anyway, so there are a lot of fucking counters. There are a lot of counter arguments to everything that they're talking about, but this is an accurate assessment of the truth.
Okay.
And if you are unfamiliar with the counter arguments, and if you haven't done the reading, people who are at least propagandists that want to make the truth seem different will be able to effectively wind you down. Okay, we'll be able to effectively make it seem like you're wrong, right? But anyway, let's continue.
He stated, there are no Arabs, 100% Jews. If we persist, it is quite possible that in the next 6 or 8 months there will be considerable changes in the country, very considerable, and to our advantage. More than 70 years later, then Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu posted on Instagram that Israel is not a state of all its citizens, but rather the nation state of the Jewish people and only them. So, it's no surprise that Israel built a system of racially discriminatory laws, policies, and practices that privilege only Jewish people. And Palestinians, well, Palestinians live there too. They were there before Israel was established. But, as we will explain, they've been trapped for decades in a system that treats them as a lesser, non-Jewish racial group. Before Israel was established in 1948, Palestinians comprised most of the population, around 70%, and owned the vast majority of private land, about 90%, in what was British Mandate Palestine. Jews, many of whom had emigrated from Europe, comprised around 30% of the population, and they and Jewish institutions owned about 6.5% of the land.
The port of Haifa in Palestine lies shattered by bombs and strewn with dead.
In the course of establishing Israel as a Jewish state in 1948, Israeli authorities acted to turn the situation on its head and were responsible for the mass expulsion of Palestinians and the destruction of hundreds of villages, forcing around 800,000 Palestinians out of their homes
here and just took this
and lands. Thousands of Palestinians and Jews were killed in...
The counter to this, the legalese, is like, oh, well, the Holocaust happened. These people were not responsible for it. As a matter of fact, 11,000 Palestinians fought against Nazi Germany, but it doesn't matter. It's besides the point. But basically, this is what settler colonialism is. And ultimately, the way that, like, in Israeli society, the way that these events are explained is totally backwards. Like, oh, it was an Arab war against Jews, and the Jews fought back, so we had to send the Arabs away. But the question in that situation is, why didn't you let them return to their homes? These are civilians. Therein lies the problem.
I think they came in wanting the whole land from the beginning.
That's precisely what it is.
And this is just what it's come down to.
Ultimately, that is the final evolution of Zionism, which is happening currently, unfolding in front of our eyes.
in the context of attacks on civilians during this conflict. Today, there are around 6 million Palestinian refugees who Israel denies the right to return to their homes. After the 1967 war, Israel occupied the Palestinian territories of the West Bank, including East Jerusalem and Gaza. Israel's brutal military rule.
I don't even want to tell you, like, the psychotic shit that they did during the Nakba from 1947 onwards. Plan Dalit. These are all historical texts that were literally uncovered by Israeli historians, by the way. And ironically, one of the formative Israeli historians basically uncovered it and then changed his position to, yeah, it was ethnic cleansing and it was planned, but it was good. I'm glad that it happened. And the others were like, this was completely unacceptable. What the fuck? One of which is historian Ilan Pappé, Israeli historian Ilan Pappé. He's an award-winning Israeli historian who was an academic in Israel, who left Israel, and I think he like literally gave up his citizenship too. He's like, fuck this shit. Avi Shleim, Ilan Pappé, and the last historian that I'm talking about is Benny Morris. Benny Morris is the one who was like, yes, ethnic cleansing happened, but it was good.
I mean, good for one side, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is one of the many things that they did. The Zionist paramilitaries attacked the village of Deir Yassin. A lot of the stuff that they talked about during October 7 was shit that like Israel had done in Deir Yassin, throwing babies in ovens and things like that.
Sorry, what? Who threw babies in ovens?
I thought Ilan Pappé renounced his citizenship. Maybe I'm wrong. No, Norm is not a part of the group of historians from Israel. Norm is not Israeli. And Norm is an incredible and very accurate chronicler of the fate of the Palestinians post-1948.
Holy moly, dude. This is heavy.
Rule, coupled with the establishment and expansion of illegal Jewish settlements, has coerced Palestinians into enclaves, creating further fragmentation and segregation.
Nothing.
All right, well, you're not paying attention.
No, I asked a question of who threw the baby in the oven.
Oh, in Deir Yassin, Zionist paramilitaries, including like actual paramilitaries that called themselves terror organizations, like personally, engaged in atrocities in an effort to basically and like let some people live in the villages, in the Palestinian villages that were literally like unguarded. There was not a single person there with like weapons. One of the most like gruesome acts of horror was when these terrorists came into the village, and they obviously had a bunch of these people at gunpoint, and there was a baker, and he had this big oven for baking bread. And they took the baker and they told the baker, you have to throw your own son in the oven. The baker refused. So they threw his son in the oven and made the baker watch his son burn alive in the oven. Then they threw the baker in the oven. The only reason why we know about this is because the third person that experienced this, that was on that fucking lineup, escaped. And basically the reason why they let a lot of these people escape in the villages after doing like insane atrocities to them, like rape, straight up like raping them to death, killing a bunch of people. The reason they would let people escape is so that they wanted the Palestinians to go to other Palestinian villages and say, this is what they did to us, leave when they come. So they would do like some of the earliest aspects of PSYOPs, basically. They would go into like major cities and they would have these big speakers on armored cars. And the speakers would be blasting like machine gun fire and bomb explosion sounds. They didn't actually have the fucking, they didn't want to use the machine gun fire, whether it was because they just didn't have a lot of resources or whatever. But they basically would surround the city with military and run these like crazy fucking sounds to make people evacuate.
Yeah.
Would basically surround the city so they can only evacuate from one single file line out of one area of the city. And they would obviously never let him return ever again after evacuating the entire city.
That's how they got all the land.
Yeah. they didn't kill everyone, but they killed enough people. I think it was 15,000, if I'm not mistaken.
Out of 800K. That's what they said got moved.
No. That's the total number of people that were ethnically displaced.
Oh, okay.
But in terms of like directly killing them, they killed 15,000 people, but they used the deaths and the lynchings and the rapes to basically scare the 750,000 ethnic Palestinians into leaving. And then they still to this day say, oh, well, they voluntarily left. Okay, they voluntarily want to come back. They would not allow that to happen. They shot a bunch of people that tried to come back to their own fucking farms and shit. Yeah. So now ask Hasan about Turkey and what they do to the Kurds. I mean, I've talked about this quite a bit. But one ironic part about this is that, like, you know, if Israel treated Palestinians in the same way that, like, the Turkish government treats Kurds, which is still horrifying, especially when you look at Kurdish majority areas where Turks, like the Turkish military, literally fucking engages in like military action. Having said that, however, if the Israeli military treated, or the Israeli government treated and offered full-blown citizenship to every single Palestinian person and considered them simply an ethnic minority, but they have the same rights, even though there is still a lot of racism, this would be declared the greatest human rights achievement of all time. And I don't think there's a single Kurdish person that would disagree with what I'm saying here. Yeah. For the record, Deir Yassin and other massacres were carried out by Irgun and Lihi, paramilitaries that were folded into the modern-day IDF by the state. These are not some sort of rogue entities. They're pertinent to the conflict as other entities. Yeah.
The objective? Maintain Jewish-Israeli hegemony and maximize control of land. In the city of Jerusalem, the Israeli official policy is to maintain at least a 60% Jewish majority.
Oh, by the way, Israel supported the South African apartheid.
Now is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, not only to stand within its gates, but also to build the home of your dreams there.
I mean, how did Israel feel about the Holocaust?
So where do all the Palestinians live now?
I don't think they like it.
3.4 million live outside of Israel in the occupied territories, mainly in refugee camps in neighboring countries.
I mean, it sounds like they're trying to run it back, but in their favor.
Yeah, that actually, what you just described is like literally plays a very formative role in the Israeli nationalistic mythos. The Holocaust is like, first of all, Israel didn't exist before when the Holocaust was happening. You know that, right?
I don't know anything.
Okay, think about the timeline. 1948.
I'm learning now.
Okay, so this is years after.
How do they feel about it now?
So the Holocaust plays a incredibly important and very instructive role in the building of the Israeli nation state, and it is a part of like the national myth making for Israel. The analysis is that before the Holocaust, there were also literally centuries of pogroms where, you know, blood libel. Everyone, anytime in any fucking Russian village or in Europe or whatever, something bad was happening, they'd be like, oh, it must be the Jews that are doing that. So what would they do? They would go and fucking find all the Jews and kill them or purge them. So Jewish people have a very long history of consistently getting fucking slaughtered.
Why?
Mercilessly. There was one exception, however.
Yeah.
The Ottoman Empire. Not to fucking glaze myself too much, but the Ottoman Empire was safe haven for Jews. And a lot of Jews actually escaped the Spanish Inquisition and came to the Ottoman Empire and lived in many different parts of the Ottoman Empire, including, but not limited to, historic Palestine. And at the time, it was seen as like a significantly better living experience for Jews in terms of like Europe, in comparison to Europe. But that's besides the point. So what I was saying was, what the fuck was I saying? He doesn't know what that means.
I assume it has to do with Turkey.
No, centuries of pogroms and the Holocaust. So centuries of pogroms and the Holocaust itself was like a enough is enough moment for a lot of people, I think, where some internalized the message behind never again as like you know, we can never allow this to happen to anyone ever again, which is the correct message. That's the reason why that message exists. And others, namely those who are at the helm of spearheading Israeli society and building this nation, saw that as never again to us. Like, just, you know, nobody else. I don't give a fuck. We will do it ourselves, actually, even if that's what it takes, but never again to us. So it's the way I think that the Holocaust is viewed is like very complicated in Israeli society, where like there's almost an air of like resentment towards Jews that survived the Holocaust or escaped the Holocaust, where they are seen as like weak by, depending on what fucking level of mania you're operating on, where like there are a lot of hyper right-wing Israeli nationals who consider like Jews during the Holocaust to be weak. They didn't fight back. They didn't fight back enough, which is, again, ahistorical, because they did fight back. That's the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, which is analogous to, you know, October 7 in many respects. But and that they did not know that they were being sent to death camps. Many Jews did not know that they were being sent to death camps. But the idea is like, yeah, the idea is that they were weak Jews and we will never be like them. We will be strong Jews. And I think that's part of the reason why Israeli society is so militant, so hyper militant. One, because it's a settler colony in the middle of a region where it's like actively purged the ethnic indigenous population. So obviously there's going to be a lot of resentment towards that. But beyond that, it's the genuine, I think, like a quite reasonable assessment of the situation as if you parse through Jewish history. Like, it is understandable, bro. If your people are getting constantly fucking killed everywhere and being made to be the only reason why bad things are happening, then yeah, you're gonna fucking be like, holy shit, we cannot have this happen again. We got to be like super militant. And I think that complicates things a little bit if you're Jewish and learning about Jewish history, or if you're like a little bit interested about Jewish history. I think that is what complicates things, because there is an air of legitimacy to the generational trauma that Jewish people have experienced.
Yeah.
The problem is that generational trauma has caused Jews to be at the forefront of every single civil justice, social justice movement, civil liberty movement, including the abolition of apartheid South Africa. So while Israel was in support of apartheid South Africa, Jews played a prominent role in South African, the fight against the South African apartheid.
Why was Israel for it?
Well, because they had their own apartheid and they wanted nukes, I think. I think that was what it was, right? Didn't they fucking get like they developed their nuclear capabilities by collaborating with South Africa, I think? Am I mistaken on that?
So Israel has nukes?
Yeah.
And we still give them weapons? Why?
Well, because they have nukes.
Oh no. Oh no. One of your viewers just typed N-word.
0.5 million Palestinians live in Israel and East Jerusalem, restricted to enclaves that make up around 3% of the entire area.
I remember
3 million Palestinians live in the occupied West Bank, but are only allowed to access 40% of the land to live and work.
If they wanted
the
to like,
rest of
travel
the
to
area
Europe, could
is
they
for the
leave?
Jewish Israeli settlers
Yes,
only.
some.
2 million are trapped.
So depends. The ones in Gaza are heavily restricted in their movement. The ones in the West Bank are also heavily restricted in their movement. Israel does something really fucked up, where if you leave the West Bank as a Palestinian resident in the West Bank, they make it so that it's virtually impossible for you to come back. If you have residence in America as a Palestinian, they still make it really hard for you to go there and visit, but you can go and visit because they're like, yeah, you're going to fuck off and you're going to go back to America or wherever you're from. But if you are a Palestinian resident of the West Bank and you leave the West Bank, they make it like as difficult as possible to make sure that you can't come back into the West Bank.
Man, this is just insane. I'll be honest, man. It sounds like this whole area needs Nice reset, you know?
Okay, bro, but, you know.
Give it to me. Let me start my Polonism there.
Okay, but you have to remember, like.
What? I'll
These
start.
innocent people didn't do shit.
Yeah, they can join me. It's great.
Like.
You have the dark matter yet?
Like, when you learn this stuff, your argument shouldn't be like, oh man, it's just too complicated for me. Fuck it. Like, let God sort it out. Because God doesn't end up sorting it out. Israel sorts it out. You know what I mean?
No, not
God. In the Gaza Strip, one of the
Dark
most
matter.
densely populated areas in the world. Fragmentation of the Palestinian society and the dispossession of their lands are key pillars of Israel's apartheid system to maintain domination and control. But there's more. The unequal structure of nationality and status, restrictions on freedom of movement, use of military rule, denial of right to political participation or the right to peaceful protest, and cruel separation of families all add to the complex system that we see today.
The world in general hasn't woken up to the fact that there is an entrenched system of oppression against Palestinians across Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories, wherever they may live, by the Israeli state. It's a system that's been put in place and maintained for decades, and it's that system that is the root cause of so many of the violations, the misery and the suffering that millions of Palestinians face on a daily basis.
One way to understand this segregation and oppression is to look at the ID system.
What's the ID system?
Jewish Israelis have only one ID card, with a status that grants them the right to live almost anywhere they wish in the country. Yeah. They can move freely with access to healthcare and vast resources. Okay. Palestinians, on the other hand, have 4 types of ID cards, if any at all. The kind of ID card you are given determines the level of rights you can enjoy and controls where you can go and what you can do. If you hold a green card, you are subject to military rule. And if you have a green card with a Gaza address, it means you're trapped in a 365-kilometer square open-air prison under Israeli military blockade in place since 2007. Israel controls what goes in and what goes out, from children's toys to medical supplies. 90%.
They literally fucking banned, at times, they call it putting the Palestinians on a diet, and they have banned, at times, things such as cookies and pasta, only for the American government to go, what the fuck? Why are you banning pasta? And then they go, okay, we'll let them have pasta.
Dude.
Yeah.
Of the people have no access to safe drinking water, 47% are unemployed, 56% live in poverty. Palestinians with a Gaza ID are forbidden from going to Jerusalem in the West Bank, even if they have family there. Some people in the West Bank are considered to live there illegally and can be deported immediately to Gaza if found by the army, even if they have been in the West Bank for decades. Whereas, if you hold a green card which has a West Bank address, then you live here. This green card means you can live within specific
Also, if you're a fucking idiot and you only regurgitate whatever the fuck Israel says for its justifications for the genocide, like some former Twitch, now Kick streamers, you will look like an absolute baboon in front of knowledgeable people when you turn around and say, oh, they banned sugar, like cookies. Okay, they banned cookies and pasta because they're making bombs out of it.
Is that possible?
No, it's not. It's already fucking processed. It's inside of a cookie. You can't fucking, unless Palestinians have figured out something that no one else has, alchemy of that sort. Okay. You can't just fucking use cookies as a bomb making material.
Listen, the Unabomber would have figured that out if it was possible. Yeah. Ted Kaczynski had an IQ of like 175.
Yeah. If you read his writings, I quite the idiot, in my opinion.
What he said about technology wasn't far off.
Okay, but that's it. That's like kind of the only thing.
Everything else was crazy, but he hit the nail on the head about the society and technology. But
it was also insane, bro.
Amen.
enclaves surrounded by illegal Israeli settlements. And there's a separation wall and fences built around you since 2002, which Palestinians call the apartheid wall. It's 8 meters high in places and 700 kilometers long. That's twice the height of the Berlin Wall and more than 4 times its length. 80% of it is built inside the West Bank, occupying even more Palestinian land.
So they actually built the wall.
There are separate roads for Israelis and Palestinians, hundreds of checkpoints scattered throughout, not to mention the 54 years of occupation, which has devastated the lives of millions of Palestinians. Palestinians with a West Bank ID can travel to Gaza or East Jerusalem, but only if they receive a permit from the military to do so. This blue ID is for Palestinians in East Jerusalem. They can travel to the occupied West Bank as well as to Israel, but they are not citizens of Israel. They have only been granted a residency status.
So how do you
This
get
means
this blue one?
that they cannot vote in Israeli national elections, and if they leave East Jerusalem for too long, for example, to study or work abroad.
It's the only, see, this is what I was talking about. They have their residency revoked. You don't get it. Like, they don't give it to you. They don't offer it to you unless you're literally already in East Jerusalem, which is a territory that Israel literally has. All right, I'll ask you this much. Would it shock you if you were to find out that Israel has opened in the laws direct goals of what the population percentage of a certain area needs to look like? Well, after finding out about all this, probably not. But like, if I were to tell you, 4 hours ago that like, did you know that Israel has an interest in maintaining a certain percentage of like the Jewish population in an area?
I can't answer now because I saw earlier they said they wanted 60% or something.
Yes.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, it is literally a part of the overarching goal of the state is like, we have to keep this area 60% Jew.
This sounds
as a Canadian citizen, I'm not allowed to fly into Tel Aviv. They would put me on a flight to go back. I'm only allowed to into the West Bank through Jordan, and I can't go to Jerusalem either without a visa from them, which they normally deny. Yeah. If you're a Palestinian, if you're an Israeli citizen, if you're an Israeli Jew, right? Because Israel has its own demographics, which is really funny because like Israel is relatively diverse in terms of like the actual ethnic backgrounds, because there's plenty of Arab Jews as well, right? Like if I were to put a fucking lineup and be like, which one is Palestinian, which one's Israeli, you would not be able to tell them apart. They all look fucking diverse. Like there's white ones, and then there's fucking brown ones, and even black ones, right? And
black what?
Jews and also Arabs. Yeah, there's Ethiopian Jews, bro.
They look like me?
I mean, you're light skinned enough, but no. I mean, Ethiopians look kind of. I mean, I guess kind of.
Okay.
Could Nick be Ethiopian, chat?
They're probably darker.
And the same goes for Arabs. Anyway.
Yeah.
Israeli society has created because of its ethno-state status. The Israeli government has created a designation. There's 2 tiers. You are either an Israeli citizen, like full-blown citizen, which means you're Jewish, or you are a non-Jew living inside of Israel. We call that the Palestinian citizens of Israel, the 1948ers, the people that were there that were offered citizenship at the time. The only thing that makes them different from like full-blown Israeli Jews is that they're just not Jewish, that they're either Christian or Muslim. Now, here's where things get interesting, okay? There are Arab Jews. Itamar Ben-Gvir is the Ministry of like Interior Defense or whatever, like the national police guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's fucking from Iraq. He's Arab, but he's Jewish. So even if you're Arab, you still get slotted into Jewish as your ethnic and religious background. And what's really interesting about this process is that if you are an Israeli Jewish citizen, right, regardless of where you're from, and you want to marry a Palestinian Muslim in the West Bank, you can't bring the Palestinian Muslim from the West Bank into Israel. Even if you get married, you have to live in the West Bank now. You can, your citizenship only goes down. Like you only get level down. You can't level up.
Okay. That is
Yeah. I've had a conversation with a literal Arab, with a Jewish Arab from Israel, teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And in the conversation, I tried to explain to him that like he's technically Arab as well, or Itamar Ben-Gvir is Arab. And he got mad at me. He was like, no, they're not Arab. They reserve the term only for non-Jews. Calling an Israeli Jew an Arab is like calling them a slur there. Yeah.
Okay. Hasan.
Yeah.
Help me here.
What?
What's an Arab? I don't understand what you're saying.
Arabs are people of a specific ethnic background from Arab countries, like predominantly Arab countries.
Right. Okay. So where you're born at, it's
that,
not
that speak Arabic.
So you can be Jewish if you're born in an Arabic country.
Yeah. There were plenty of Jewish people that used to live in Arabic countries. Some of them, some of them were literally after Israel was developed as a nation state. Some of them were fucking purged from the Arabic nations because they had their own pan-Arabic or their own nationalist movements in their development of the nation state. So they literally were forcing them out. Or Israel also personally, like in the case of Iraq, was making it so that they would do false flag attacks, like bomb synagogues. Israel would bomb a synagogue in Iraq to be like, see, they hate you. You need to come to Israel now.
So let me get this straight. If you're in Arabic and if you're from help. You said if you say you're an Arabic Jew, it's a slur.
Jews in Israel that are from Arabic backgrounds, okay,
they will
that come from countries that Arabic countries, do not consider themselves to be Arab. You can only be Arab inside of Israel if you are non-Jew. If you are not a Jewish person, you can be, if you're Christian or if you're Muslim, under Israeli societal designation, you are Arab. But if you're Jewish, you're not. Israel has actually a separate designation for Arab Jews. Jews of Arabic origin and Arab designation. It's called it's the Mizrahi.
Chat, this is a lot to take in one day, guys. I apologize. This is just a lot to take in because I'm trying to get everything plain, plain as day.
It's all good.
Because I'm just getting confused here.
If you are an Israeli Jew of Arab descent, you have a separate designation under like Israeli society. As a Jewish person, you are still considered a Jewish person. If they ask you like what your background is, there's a separate designation for it. It's called Mizrahi.
And is that frowned upon?
No.
Okay.
Well, originally when they were first coming into Israel, they were frowned upon. There was a lot of issues with integration of Mizrahi Jews into Israeli society. I don't want to really get into that, but like they used to call them like, they considered them barbarians. Like, oh, you need to learn how to fucking. There was definitely a Ashkenazi supremacist undertone to a lot of this stuff, and there still kind of is in Israel. Ashkenazis are Eastern European and white Jews, many of which that live in the United States of America as well. So like. There is definitely colorism in Israel as well. They did a sterilization operation on Ethiopian Jews specifically because they claimed it was so that they would stop birth defects, but it was actually so that they would stop having children.
Oh.
Because they wanted to continue the Western European style nature of Israel. Israel also engaged in ecological terrorism, ecological colonialism, where they would like raise all the Arab villages, change the villages to sound more Israeli in name, like Hebrew. They also did like really unique shit. I mean, Hebrew as a language was basically revitalized. Like it was a dead language ultimately. Most Jews like spoke Yiddish or whatever the language that they spoke in their nation of origin. And then they literally single-handedly in this nation state project revived a fucking dead language, brought it to the forefront. Unfortunately, some of the consequences were like the desecration and destruction of Yiddish because of some of the similar, cultural aspects of Yiddish that I explained.
Yeah.
Or cultural remnants of like the way that some of Israeli society internalize the Holocaust or how they look at the Holocaust. But
I have heard of the word Yiddish, chat. Okay.
Yeah.
Someone said Nick hasn't heard of the word.
It's not entirely accurate. I mean, I think it's like, it was almost an entirely liturgical language like Latin. I think that like if Israel wasn't such a violent and a bloody permanent occupation, settler colonial occupation. Like, there is a lot of phenomenal achievements that you could point to, including literally like the revitalization of a language such as Hebrew in such a short period of time. I think that the problem is it came alongside the death and destruction. But in terms of like the ecological terrorism that I was referencing, they literally fucking would raise these villages, change the language or change the name of the villages to like, you know, either biblical shit or fucking, or not even biblical shit, but like they would change it to like Hebrew words. But then also they would destroy the olive trees. Olive trees take hundreds of years to like grow and fucking bear fruit as efficiently as they can in Palestine. And they would burn the olive trees down and they would plant European style trees. They would plant trees that like resembled the European fauna, and like pine trees and shit. And obviously pine trees like exist in fucking Lebanon and shit too, but like basically they changed the ecology of the entire area, or not the fauna, the flora, sorry. And what ended up happening is like now they have a higher likelihood of having like wildfires because it's like such a dry area that it's not supposed to.
They shouldn't have done it then.
Yeah. Anyway,
so
yeah, they engage in ecological fascism.
I have another dumb question.
Yeah.
For like Gaza and like the West Bank, do they have internet?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a couple different processes. One now former HasanAbi head who was executed by the Israeli state.
Excuse me, one of your viewers was executed by
a bunch of my viewers, yes.
Shut the fuck up.
What do you mean shut the fuck up? He was also a TikToker. He also had a TikTok. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's a video of him. There's a video of him explaining the process of using eSIMs.
And they killed him?
Yeah. In an internet cafe.
Oh, brother. Should I not be on this stream? Oh my God.
You're not in Gaza.
But oh my God. This is wild, Hasan. This whole thing is crazy to me, man.
It's been tough bringing this up, but I don't even want to cover this aspect of it. I don't even want to talk about it. It makes me really sad to think about. But his name is Meadow. Anyway, he was a TikToker and he loved growing plants. He had like a miniature greenhouse.
You don't have to get into it if it's sad.
Anyway,
please don't.
The point is, he had a video where he talks about like how they get internet, where they go to the Egyptian border and they have eSIMs.
Yeah, yeah.
And they like fucking put the phone up so that he could pirate videos and then, you know, watch American movies and TV.
So he would get cell service from like from Egypt.
From an eSIM from Egypt, yeah.
Okay, so they don't have internet. They have to. They have to go get it their own way.
Yeah, Israel controls like the telecommunications as well. Like they would routinely blow up. He thinks they killed him because he watches you. No, he didn't. They didn't kill him because he watches me. They killed him because he's just a Palestinian, and you know, they don't care.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
holy fuck.
But yeah, basically they control internet access. They'll blow like telecommunication centers.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll blow up cell towers and stuff every now and then to force a blackout. In the early stages of the genocide, they would just like blow up the cell towers to do a complete communication blackout so that people couldn't get the word out about what was going on. But nowadays, they don't even feel the need to do that because people just don't care. Like, so many people have died and Americans don't care. Israel only offers justification for the people that they've killed if it becomes a fucking major news story in the West, too. That's the other thing. Like, World Central Kitchen, led by Jose Andres, American chef, very famous, Barack Obama's favorite chef. World Central Kitchen was literally, like Jose Andres of World Central Kitchen was like defending Israel in the early months of October, being like, Israel has a right to defend itself. He was like shitting on a fucking Spanish parliament member who was saying like Israel does not have a right to fucking destroy Palestinian lives like this. Stop it. He was like, you know, critically defending Israel and stuff. So this guy is World Central Kitchen, right? Yes, he's from Spain. I know. But he's like very famous in America. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, he's done a lot of good stuff around the world. So he collaborates with the Israeli government. The Israeli government's like, oh, this will be good PR for us if we get this fucking famous Spanish chef who is a Zionist himself to go and like deliver food. So the World Central Kitchen basically operates in a similar capacity to UNRWA. Oh my God, I can't even begin to explain what UNRWA is to you. Never mind, I'm not even going to get into the Refugee Relief Works Agency. So they go and they hire Palestinians and they try to use like Palestinian kitchens. They try to use the Palestinian food. Like if they go to an area that is impacted, they try to hire the people there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like double aid. You know what I mean? They give them money and they, they give them money and they use their own logistical supply chains. Anyway, it's a wonderful organization.
Yeah.
It is also comprised of Westerners like Americans, British people, Australian people. They go down there.
Yeah.
World Central Kitchen was in collaboration with the Israeli government when they were offering humanitarian aid to the Palestinians on the ground. There's a process called deconfliction. It's like a military term that it's like a military term that is used like when you're coordinating your movement in a war zone so they don't fucking kill you.
Sure.
Right? Ambulances do this as well. Palestinian Red Crescent does this with the Israeli government. They get killed all the time, but they're Palestinians, so that doesn't really matter to the rest of the world. But World Central Kitchen was engaging in deconfliction with the Israeli military, and they were going through the expected route. The Israeli they call it a rogue brigade, but it was just like any other fucking brigade because it's a kill zone. Triple tapped that convoy and executed 7 World Central Kitchen humanitarian aid workers. This was a major news story for a week.
Including the guy from Spain?
No, not Jose Andres. He's still alive. But he changed his attitude about Israel quite dramatically after that experience where he was like, what the fuck are you doing? You just killed my friends. But only after that, he, changed his tune on Israel and the genocide. Not that it matters because nothing came of it. No changes were made. The people that engaged in the act got barely a fucking slap on the wrist.
Dude.
Yeah.
Is that them?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Israel slaughters Americans. Israel slaughters people from Australia, Poland, USA and Canada, UK. They killed like UK vets.
Are they doing this on purpose so people just be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm not going to help anymore?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. What argument do you make to people who don't wish to believe in empirical facts just because who's giving the facts, as well as to inform people that are only taking verbal information just as worse as ignoring other information? Is there any hope to turn these people back to journalists or news outlets who give these facts? I don't know. If someone, and there are plenty of people like this because of living in the post 9/11 universe where like if you're Muslim, they automatically declare you an enemy combatant in their eyes. A lot of people hear me speak on this stuff and they're like, well, your name is Hasan. Of course you're fucking biased. You love this Muslim shit. They don't understand that I just see the humanity of all people.
Got it.
They think that I have a special place for the Palestinian population because of my Muslim background. And then they double down and follow up with that line of bigotry and say, oh, it's because you're anti-Semitic too. Anyway, oh yeah, here is the UN agency had to suspend operations in Gaza after a car was hit by gunfire at an Israeli checkpoint, the World Food Program. You can see it right there, the badge says. Yeah.
And so when these
also notice, okay,
what do they say though when they get accused of
notice
this?
the way that like here I'll give you another example of manufacturing consent. The way that these guys, the way that Western media, the Telegram group. No, I don't want to. This is a different incident from World Central Kitchen. This is a different UN humanitarian aid group.
You told me a story about earlier when with the cops that were lining up. Like they seem to do this all the time.
So yeah. So here's the thing. Do you notice something weird about this article headline? When you see this headline, doesn't it kind of make you feel like the gunfire could be coming from anyone?
Yeah, because it's hit by random gunfire.
Yeah, this is what is known as passive voice. News outlets in the United States of America and also in the Western world in general will apply this technique called passive voice. You would never, like during 9/11, it would be akin to writing like airplane collision with World Trade Center causes 3,000 to perish. They wouldn't say that. Right. Terrorists attacked the World Trade Center is the fucking headline. Right. And it is a way to make it seem like whenever a cop kills someone in America, or whenever Israel or an American ally shoots at or does something illegal to an American enemy, the way that like Western media tries to, put a, manicure the story and manufacture consent by manicuring the story and massaging it.
What consent? Consent to get shot?
No, manufacturing consent is like you're giving consent. Like you're reading this and you're like, oh, it could be anybody that did it.
Yeah, okay.
I guess like Israel
I get it.
Might not have done it. It's a way to take the edge off. Basically, they do this all the time.
But why? Why not just be like, what? Why?
Consent in this circumstance is approval. Like you give tacit endorsement.
Who owns
and
the Guardian?
I don't fucking know. Some rich British guy.
I'm just curious at why like soften it.
The reason why Western newspapers soften these sorts of actions is because it's not because it's like owned by a singular individual. It's because the goal of these institutions is to do propaganda that align with the interests of their own state. That's why they do it. It's not like an individual that is engaging in propaganda because they like are personally invested in Israel. In some instances, they might be like literally invested in Israel, and like their portfolio has investments in Israel, right? Like that's one aspect of the story, but like usually they do this specifically to make it seem like Israel's actions are not.
Even the LA Times actually said UCLA cancels classes after counter-protesters violently attack pro-Palestinian camp.
This was actually an interesting instance where mainstream media basically said counter-protesters, pro-Israeli counter-protesters, violently attacked the pro-Palestinian camp. But watch what happens quickly.
Got mainstream media being like, yeah, listen up, big dog. You guys f***ed up a little bit.
Dismantle the pro-Palestinian camp.
Wait, check out the LA Times headline now. Much more ambiguous. No.
Dude, are you serious?
After violent protests at UCLA, UC president launches investigation into response.
Why'd they change it?
They changed it because it was too fucking anti-Israel. In real time, we watched it happen. They were like, all right, well, maybe the first headline wasn't great. We should...
They definitely...
Yeah, look. Yeah. Gunfire kills, wounds dozens in hospital encircled by Israeli tanks. Who did it?
They definitely know who you are.
Who fucking did it, bro? Who did it? Gunfire kills, wounds dozens in hospital? Like, as though this is a fucking naturally occurring phenomenon, in Gaza. It's just how it works.
Bro, this whole thing is just... honestly horrifying.
Yeah. And I mean, they do this for a lot of shit. It's not just for like Israel, Whenever there is capital interest, you will always have similar things happen.
So I got a question.
What?
So when you see an article like this, what you probably do is look into it more to see what actually happened, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Because the average person will see his article and move on with their day.
Yeah, and that's the informed person. The average person doesn't know or give a fuck about any of this shit. But the informed population that want to learn about it read these articles and will, their takeaway will be whatever the fuck the article wants you to think.
Like an LSF thread.
I don't know why you would compare it to LSF in that regard, but I guess it's correct.
Because people read the titles and just assume that's what happened.
Yeah, you're right. That's not wrong. And they clip chimp too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy man, like you got to put in a lot of effort if you really want to know what's going on.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
And that's why I also consistently try to tell people that are like newcomers in this community, like everything you've heard about me has a very specific purpose. It is to sully my reputation. To
I
make
always
sure
defend
that,
you, by the way, in the morning.
to make sure that, yeah, I know, to make sure that like you don't come in here with a clear mind or a clear conscience and a level of charitability. Your impact in here is supposed to be uncharitable, so that you don't listen to what I have to say, and you've already automatically declared me someone who is like biased against your interests, and it's someone who is like sinister.
Jeez, man.
Yeah.
I know this stuff's cooked because I talked to my dad about this once, and the things that he was saying blew my mind. I'm like, Dad, I can't believe you just said this.
Yeah.
Because he, especially with like the drops, like when they were dropping the stuff, it was crazy.
Your videos on the Lebanon pager attack? Yeah. Remember when Israel blew up pagers in Lebanon?
That was recently.
Yeah. Like 7 days ago. Israel has since killed 800 people in Lebanon.
With pagers.
No, with fucking bombing, direct bombing campaigns. But at the time, they killed like, I think 11 with the pagers, including 2 children, right? And they maimed up like 3,000 people on top of that. And the media covered it as like this phenomenal instance of espionage against a scary enemy combatant. They blew up civilian communications devices after infiltrating a supply chain, not knowing who ended up with those fucking pagers at all. And yet, of course, they killed a bunch of people that were civilians in the process. You can't even kill enemy combatants when they're not in war anyway. That's still a war crime regardless. It was a war crime after a war crime. It was a double war crime. It was an act of terror. And that's precisely what it did. It caused psychological trauma to the civilian population that was worried about their fucking household goods. They were like, is my fucking toaster going to explode next? That's what happened.
Oh my God.
That is an act of terror. The media literally covered it as though it was actually a phenomenal tactical instance of Israeli espionage. And a lot of people don't actually scratch the surface. They just look at that and they go, yeah, you know what? This is great. Yeah. 4-year-old Lebanese girl Naya Ghazi was among the 14 Israel killed today. Her body was recovered several hours later from under the rubble.
Thank you. I mean, we're not going to see her blow up, are we? Or anything like that? Okay, please.
No, this was, this was the rubble when they started bombing.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
This is heavy stuff, man.
Yeah.
Chat, you be here all days listening to this guy, huh? This stuff is not for the faint of heart. It really isn't.
Yeah. So, you know, it is what it is, I guess.
It is what it is. And this is why you like to play basketball, because that's where you can just be free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it now.
If the enemy is fact, the only way to win is by attacking the messenger. Yeah. That's exactly. There were media correspondents that called the attack awesome. So many people. Like,
why would that be awesome if you're blowing up civilians with pagers?
Because it's the enemy. They're killing enemies. They're killing Arabs. And the Arabs that die as collateral damage is simply just like Arabs that shouldn't have been in the way. Okay? That's what it is. That's how dehumanization works. This is also, yeah, this is why a lot of people despise American foreign policy, like absolutely hate American foreign policy.
Man.
Watching churches get bombed during Christmas really fucked me up. Hard to enjoy things when you know stuff is happening. Yeah. Israel was doing that. They were bombing Palestinian churches. Anyway. The craziest part of it is that they say these guys are human shields. That's like the Israeli propaganda for it. They're like, oh, well, they're human shields. They're in the way of our bombs.
You know what makes you kind of wonder? How much of like, after like 9/11, the stuff that I was told as American citizens was just not true?
What do you mean? A lot of it. Why did we invade Afghanistan?
I don't fucking know.
Why did we invade Iraq?
The bad guys were there.
Yeah. They hadn't, brother, 17 of the 19 hijackers were Saudi.
I know.
Why did we not invade Saudi Arabia and just went to random countries instead? Now, for Afghanistan, you could say, oh, they were holding Osama bin Laden. Okay, turns out he was in Pakistan anyway, which is, again, next to the fucking Pakistani military training facility. He was living there. But regardless, when he was in Afghanistan, we had the opportunity to extract him without invading Afghanistan, but we invaded it anyway.
Do you like George W. Bush?
Fuck no.
Well, when he dodged those shoes.
That was unfortunately one of those instances where you hate hearing about someone who is worthy of so much more worse things, but he just got good reflexes in that time.
Did you see him tell a security guard to back off when the second shoe was coming?
No.
He did. He told a security, I got this. I'm going to dodge this shoe. That's all I know. Dude, that's...
Yeah.
Whew. Man.
They lied about WMDs in Iraq. They were like, oh, they have, WMDs. We got to go invade Iraq. Iraq was even less involved. Iraq was even less involved than Afghanistan was, and Afghanistan wasn't even fucking involved at all.
Dude, life is just... It can be quite fucked sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm over here just enjoying my Veronica Khalil every morning.
But here's how this works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bush rejects Taliban offer to hand bin Laden.
Excuse me?
9:30 p.m. update. Taliban demand evidence of bin Laden's guilt. Second week of airstrike starts. Taliban urges U.S. to halt bombing.
Wait, they were going to hand him over?
Yeah, dude.
Didn't it take us 10 years to find this guy? And Barack was like, we got him.
Don't even get me started on... Osama bin Laden was a known asset.
I know.
And even before, there were plenty of people who did not like him and were actually against him amongst the Mujahideen, not the Taliban, but other groups in the Mujahideen in Afghanistan. On 9/10, they assassinated the guy who wanted to fucking give America, warn America about Osama bin Laden. But yeah, they rejected the Taliban offer to hand bin Laden, and they said, we don't negotiate with terrorists.
Okay, this might be a loaded question. I'm learning everything for the first time. Everything seems new to me. Was bin Laden behind 9/11?
Yes.
Okay. So not everything I know is a lie.
No.
Okay. All right.
But bin Laden was before 9/11.
All right.
Osama bin Laden for many, many years got positive coverage even from the Western news. Did you know that?
No, I'd never heard of the guy before that happened.
Let me show you the tape.
No, oh no. Is it tape?
No, it's not a tape.
Didn't he play Counter-Strike?
I think so. He was also in the hentai, I think. Hold on. Osama bin Laden. Was it in which newspaper was it in? Guardian? Revolutionary. Anti-USSR.
Wait. Was it? Oh my.
Center for Public Integrity, how the U.S. helped midwife a terrorist. The 9/10 guy is Ahmed Shah Massoud, but I'm not talking about that. Does anyone have the news article? You know what I'm talking about? The article about not the Mujahideen, but like about Osama bin Laden specifically. Trained by the CIA, by the way. And so were the fucking, they knew of him. He was a known asset. Oh, this is that's the title of the article. Hold on. Gopnik MacLeod. Oh, this in the newspaper, this also had a photo of Osama bin Laden. Anti-Soviet warrior puts his army on the road to peace. The Saudi businessman who recruited Mujahideen now uses them for large-scale building projects in Sudan. Robert Fisk met him in Al-Matik, 1993.
This is
here's the photo, I think. Yeah, here it is. There he is. All 6'7" of old glory.
He was,
right there.
He was 6'7"?
Yeah, he's tall as hell, bro.
Did he play basketball?
He should have.
Dude. Dude, the world's insane. Just.
Yeah.
I'm getting cold shivers.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. Austin is yelling from the background and said, "You'll never enjoy the national anthem as much again."
I mean, which one at this point? Me and Felix.
July 4th has never been celebrated the same since I started watching.
Oh no!
It's almost like I
dude.
heard he had a couple slam dunks back in September of 2001.
No, dude.
Yeah, he was playing with the wrong Rockets.
Dude, stop. Please stop. Like, oh my goodness, dude.
So, here's the thing. The reason why you are completely not knowledgeable of all these affairs is because it would make you go fucking crazy if you constantly thought about this shit. And the entire purpose of the media is to basically dull your sensibilities into not knowing any of this shit. What I have to deal with is something that's worse. You are fantastic. You're charitable, you're curious, you're interested in this intellectually, and you're not going to like immediately be resistant to what I have to say. But the average person that constantly gets all of this fucking propaganda, okay, already has a resilience to what I have to say, and sometimes will go forth and defend it, okay? They will defend the Israeli actions. That's what fucking pisses me off more than anything else. Motherfuckers that are not knowledgeable come in here and repeat talking points they heard from some fucking YouTuber who is also not knowledgeable on the issue, but they're also like, now the person is repeating a person that didn't already have like the full scope of the story and are like not even remembering the talking points correctly. And they're just pissing me the fuck off because they're so smarmy and fucking annoying about it. They're like, and also on top of that, they, especially in this instance, they'll also package it with like a shit ton of Islamophobic sentiment to be like, this morning someone fucking came in and was like, I heard your pager is beeping. Like, that's like a threat. You know what I mean? He's saying like,
oh my God,
you know, you're Hezbollah and you're going to blow up. Like we're, you know, I hope the American government kills you. That's what that means. And it's very frustrating because like, if you interrogate that person and try to figure out where they came to this conclusion, they have no knowledge whatsoever because it takes nothing to just be like, you're a fucking dirty, you know, sand N-word and you're going to blow up. It takes nothing to say that, you know?
Well, why would they say that? Where's the anger coming from?
Well, you weren't here this morning when I talked about it, but that anger comes from the fact that that motherfucker doesn't have health care. That motherfucker is fully aware of the hurt and harm caused to him by his own government. He at least experiences the impacts of it. He knows that his life is never going to be as good as his parents' generation. He knows he's never going to have a home. He knows he's never going to have a job. He's never going to, or have a meaningful job. He's never going to be able to retire. So that fucking makes him really angry.
He's frustrated.
And in that anger and frustration, he lashes out at whoever the fuck can hear him. And it makes him feel powerful in that moment to be like, this guy, this Twitch streamer, he has a lot of money. He's hot. People listen to him. But, you know, I'm going to piss him off because he's lower than me, because he's a fucking dirty Muslim defending other dirty Muslims that are getting brutalized by the American and Israeli militaries. That's where that anger comes from. That's where racism comes from. You know, the notion that someone will look at you and because you're black, assume automatically that you are worse than they are, that you're lower, you're inferior to them. That kind of like that kind of white supremacist sentiment.
I have dealt with that in the past.
Someone said Netanyahu's dead. No, he's not, bro. Shut the fuck up.
You want to know how I defeated in the past?
No way. How?
So people used to call me like the N-word and stuff back in middle school, but then I realized I could say something to them that hurt them even more.
What?
I would just call them poor.
Okay.
It was a defense mechanism.
I feel you. I understand, I guess. For real, HasanAbi argue with you dead ass 2 hours just to finally say, okay, well, maybe it's possible I don't have all the facts. Yeah. Oh yeah, LBJ.
What do you say?
LBJ,
Lyndon
quote? Big Dick Johnson said, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him something to look down to. He'll empty his pockets for you.
The president said this?
Yeah.
He said this.
Yeah, he had a fat cock, bro. What do you mean? He's unstoppable. He had a fat cock, and he really wanted to do Vietnam.
But like, isn't this kind of insulting towards white people?
Oh, woe is me, bro.
No, I'm just saying. And like,
I mean, it is, but who gives a shit?
No, I'm saying, but it's like people. He's speaking the truth. Then.
Yeah.
I've never heard this quote before. That's interesting.
Nixon said words? Yeah, but he didn't say that about white people. Nixon said that about black people, Jews.
Was Nixon racist?
Dog, which American president wasn't racist?
Barack
Obama called Black Lives Matter protesters uppity thugs.
Who?
Barack Obama called Black Lives Matter protesters uppity thugs.
Oh. Was he joking?
No, he wasn't joking.
Better question: who's not racist?
Didn't he also do the pull your pants up shit too? I feel like he did that. He did that too. Who was not racist?
Just who in general? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Barack Obama loved melting black and brown people overseas with drone strikes, dude. He fucking blew up a goddamn hospital. He even killed Italian doctors.
He did that?
Yeah, bro. Kunduz.
I don't know what that is.
He blew up a hospital in Kunduz.
For fun? I don't
the
understand.
hospital was a Doctors Without Borders hospital, so he had to apologize for it because like he killed white people too. He blew up weddings.
I've raised money for them before.
What?
Doctors Without Borders?
Yeah.
I've raised money for those before.
They're sick. I love Doctors Without Borders. Goddamn commie doesn't want. Yeah, he had to apologize.
An error with fatal consequences. Barack Obama has apologized to Doctors Without Borders for the U.S. bombing.
Right?
Yeah, because he killed white people. How many hospitals did they fucking blow up that they never apologized for because there were no white people there? This happened to be.
Who's the guy on the left?
I think he's. I'm assuming the French.
That mistakenly hit the
leader or something.
NGO in Kunduz, killing 22 people.
I actually don't
President
know.
Obama spoke by telephone with Doctors Without Borders International President Dr.
The German president? Okay.
Joanne Liu, to apologize and express his condolences for the MSF staff and patients who were killed and injured when a U.S. military airstrike mistakenly struck an MSF field hospital in Kunduz. After completing that call, the president telephoned.
Yeah. Anyway.
Did all he say was I'm sorry? Did he do anything?
He hit the wrong location. It has nothing to do with white people. Lol W. Stop it. No, dog. No, you fucking idiot. He apologized because white people were killed. How many wrong locations the American government fucking target over and over again with no apologies? This is what I mean. This motherfucker doesn't know the facts. I do. He misunderstood me, and now it's like my problem. You know what I mean? He's making his problem my issue. He's making it the issue of 35,000 people that are watching right now, and it's very fucking annoying, you know?
Jeez.
Look. My boomer black chatter. Bro, telling young black men to pull their pants up ain't racist, brother. It's saying be respectful to yourself, not having your ass hang out.
I mean, to be fair, my mother also told me to pull my pants up.
Isn't she also conservative, kind of?
No, my mom rants about Donald Trump all the time.
I know, but like, that doesn't change the dynamic. You can still be conservative and be anti-Trump.
Well, no, she's voting for the blue team.
The Democrats? Come on, you know like.
Listen, she's just super religious and she doesn't like.
Okay,
awesome
there
show.
you go.
Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Isn't it quite ignorant being I know more than you? Yeah, it is. If I was not fully aware of the situation and also knew that that person didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. So in this situation, it's actually not ignorant. It's addressing ignorance. But you are hyper-focused on the aesthetics of it, okay? But you assume people don't? Yes, because in a situation where I have the full scope of knowledge and I'm talking about a specific aspect of Barack Obama's drone program where one of the unintentional targets was a hospital that was a Doctors Without Borders hospital, which was unceremoniously and uniquely apologized for as opposed to the litany of other fucking strikes that Barack Obama never apologized for. I'm saying he only apologized because he killed Western doctors. Okay? And if you come in here in this situation, if you come in here and you tell me like, nah, it had nothing to do with white people, lol, then yeah, you are ignorant of the facts. And it shouldn't hurt your feelings that you are not knowledgeable. The more you know, the more you realize that you don't know. You're so wrong, it's ridiculous. You're so left, you're actually on the right, fully aware. Bro thinks he knows everything.
This guy must have got a gifted sub. There's no way he paid for this.
He did. And he did that, and now he won't see the top of the hour ad break, which is coming in the middle of the hour because I forgot to run it. And there are plenty of others like him, but it's all good. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Admitting you misfired and showed military incompetence is only deployed when white people are the collateral. I am going to in a second. They would never admit to military incompetence that when innocent black and brown civilians are impacted. Yes. By the way, ironically, another incident occurred with the World Central Kitchen aid bombings. Israel never apologized for killing 200 humanitarian aid workers before the World Central Kitchen aid workers were killed. 200. Why? Because those humanitarian aid workers were fucking brown. They were Arab. They were Lebanese. They were Palestinian. Okay? They only apologized for it because World Central Kitchen aid workers were killed, and they were fucking Canadian and Australian and British. Okay? The entire purpose of why these organizations like Doctors Without Borders exist is because everybody knows that America is going to be at least a little bit more careful if there's white people there, okay? That these agencies are going to be a little bit more careful with their targeting when there's valuable people there, white people, okay? That's literally the entire purpose of Doctors Without Borders. That is literally the entire purpose of aid groups like this. That is the whole purpose. And they will tell you that, by the way, in their fucking mission statement. It's so funny that people just still try to deny the like abject reality. There's a Polish guy there too, yeah. Worth noting that Republicans at the time said Obama was weak for apologizing for the U.S. on the world stage for doing war crimes. Yeah. Yeah. 75% of aid workers killed this year were literally killed by Israel. World Humanitarian Day 2024, with number of aid workers killed reaching record high. UN and partners demand those in power. #Act for Humanity. Outrageously high number of humanitarian aid workers killed, with 280 aid workers killed in 33 countries last year. 2023 marked the deadliest year on the record for global humanitarian community. The outrageously high number represents a 137% increase compared to 2022, when 118 aid workers were killed. 2024 may be on track for an even deadlier outcome. More than half of the 2023 deaths were recorded in the first 3 months, October to December, of the hostilities in Gaza, mostly a result of airstrikes. Good guys. Israel deliberately targets and assassinates journalists. Israel has killed the overwhelming majority of journalists in conflict throughout history at this point in Gaza alone. And the same goes for fucking humanitarian aid workers that are killed. Ultimately, they get to kill whoever the fuck they want. And you can't say a damn thing about it, because if you do say a damn thing about it, you're anti-Semitic. Shut the fuck up. That's it. Hasan doesn't often accept he might be wrong. I don't think he's wrong in this instance, but that's not exactly relevant. That's not correct. I do accept when I'm wrong. Like when I fucking said Russia will never invade Ukraine, and ain't nobody ever let me fucking live that down, okay? So you're wrong. Ironically, I'll give you examples.
They did invade
Another
Ukraine.
thing that I was wrong about, for example, was, dude, fuck, I was thinking about this the other day. I was wrong when I said I don't think the Republicans will actually take away abortion rights, because that would be an unimaginably stupid thing for them to do so, because they would suffer political penalties. I said this years ago, okay? That's a JDAM. What? That part is true? That's a JDAM? You're a fucking idiot. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, exactly. They blew up every fucking hospital. I was completely right on that. You can suck my cock. Yeah, it wasn't a JDAM, but it doesn't matter. They blew up every fucking hospital in the strip. You don't give a shit. You were wrong about Moon Moon and apologize. Yep, that's right. I was wrong.
Wait, what'd you say about Moon Moon?
I defended Goon Goon back in the day against Cutie Cinderella, when Cutie Cinderella was like, ERP is like weird and wrong.
Oh,
and
you
like,
want to
a lot
actually
of people
talking about that? Because I was doing it.
What?
That's why that topic was hot.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was about. But anyway, but basically, okay, well, she was right about that then too.
What?
That she was right about that as well. She was doubly right.
No.
What do you mean? You're single now.
That has nothing to do with it.
Still.
Bro, are you kidding me? No way, bro. Just like Twitter. Relax, man. No way, dude. No way, bro.
I don't know the details.
Way.
You were wrong about Usopp. I want to apologize. I'm right about Usopp.
Fuck? Help, chat. Tell me it had nothing to do with it. Stop.
Hasan is a Twitter Andy. I actually don't know what the details are, and I haven't asked you at all.
It's just.
But Cutie was right about Moon Moon, it seems. Anyway. Accept his wrongs and adjust himself hundreds of times a day. That's how his lock predictions come true all the time. Idiots. Yeah, that's the other. Anyway, what else? What else was I wrong about? Give me more. I'm sure there's like other shit that I've been wrong about.
Chat, stop spamming Hipgate. It was fried. It was fried before Hipgate. Trust me.
Wrong about One Piece. That's true. I was wrong about the Korean movement, the 4B feminism movement in Korea, until I found the full scope. Until I found out how insane shit was in Korea in terms of the gender wars.
It's okay to be wrong, by the way. That's the only way you can really improve.
Oh, another thing I was wrong about. The existence of the pro-NATO would-be Trump assassin. I said, historically, I mean, that wasn't as consequential. And that was just mostly me joking, saying that like no one is like a pro-NATO voter. When I say that, I mean like there is not a significant number of voters that could change the outcome of an election. That's a little bit of embellishment, okay? Wrong about farting on airplanes. Not only am I think I invented Ryan Ruth. Anyway, this is Inside Memes. Nick is going to get bored after talking for hours and hours and hours and learning about so much of the conflict and the genocide in Israel, or genocide that Israel is committing in Gaza. Anyway, yeah, but that was wonderful. I'm glad that you sat your ass down and you listened.
Oh, I had a great time, brother.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, am I getting kicked out now?
No, not at all.
Oh, no, I've been having a hell, dude. I'm not kidding you. Like, this is really fun for me. I'm not. Also, I was getting a bit overwhelmed at some point, almost to the verge of tears with some of the things you were telling me. It was fucking wild.
Yeah.
I'm actually been quite emotional recently because whatever.
For obvious reasons, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, dude, some of this stuff, like, it's just, I had no idea what was going on. I really didn't. But I'm glad you told me. Your community is so nice and welcoming.
Yeah.
Even though I asked some dumb questions.
Should we go get some clothes now?
I mean, if you really want to, we don't have to.
I do want to. I mean, I think we're doing great.
You can do whatever you want to do.
This was supposed to be like a light politics day and a fun day overall, and that was my goal overall. But you seemed genuinely interested.
Oh, so genuinely, yeah.
If there's anyone that's ever genuinely interested, like I gotta fucking. Your biggest L is gonna be when LeBron gets caught up with Diddy. Wow, that's white supremacy. See, I foster white supremacists. I harbor them in this community. I offer them shelter.
Oh,
it's fucked up. Wishing that LeBron.
Look at this guy. No,
wishing
I love you.
wishing that LeBron the GOAT James. Okay.
La China.
Yeah, you're giving further evidence as to why he's the GOAT. La China. Okay. La Xi Jinping.
La Balding.
Okay, that part. Bitch, what about you?
My hair's perfect, brother. I'm not losing a piece of hair.
It is actually pretty good.
Not a gray there either.
Your hairline looks pretty good because
I gained 2 inches too.
Did you get to? Did a black barber cut this?
Nope.
Is there any melanin involved?
A white female.
That's crazy.
Who's hot?
She does a pretty good job. Like a pretty decent job with this fade.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway.
She's awesome.
Okay, stop saying Le Zionist. LeBron is not a Zionist. Shut up. I know he can't say that He's probably really sad about Hasan Nasrallah's passing, like right now. Get locks, Nick. That says Sean the Black.
Oh, there's no way. I don't got it in me.
You were wrong about hating cats. You like coots. That's true. I mean, there are some cats that I like for sure. He's being silenced. I know him personally. Yeah, that's real. I'm LeBron. That's another thing you're usually wrong about. What? This being fun day and also playing video games? Shut up. What else was I gonna fucking... What else was I gonna talk about? There was some other shit that I wanted to tell you or wanted to do. Do you have any other questions? Do you have any further questions? Where's Mr. Arthur?
I mean, if I had to guess, he's probably in bed.
Just sleeping?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, I mean, to be fair, my brain's a little bit fried from all this knowledge. I'm going to try to retain it. I don't know. I'm not going to be preaching anything because I'm not smart enough. I'll send them to you.
Okay.
Good. You know, that said, I'm still going to be taking the McDonald's deals. I need the money.
You do not need the money, motherfucker.
You ever write?
You have so much money. You have 14,000 subs.
You ever write a check for $5 million, Hasan?
No.
And just burn it?
No.
Okay, then.
Tell them about AIPAC and the Jewish death of Rapture. Okay, that's too much. I've given Nick enough tools to develop a more comprehensive understanding of what's going on. And a lot of memes as well. Exclusive. Iran's supreme leader is taken to a secure location. Sources say open mouth emoji.
Yeah. Who's this guy?
This is the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
Supreme leader? Isn't that what North Korea has?
I guess they do as well, but this is like a religious guy. Yeah. Replacing explain like I'm 5 to explain like I'm Nmplol. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna laser brain rest, and by that I mean let's go shopping.
If you want to, we can.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let me get Arthur, and we can go.